Hi, everybody. Welcome to FNS Wrestling Podcast, episode 161. Sitting across the table from my co-host and teenage son, Jack, who had a full day of work today. Excited to come down now and do a couple hours.
Absolutely.
Right? And I saw you at work for the first time today. That was exciting.
Uh-huh.
For you, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, your mom wanted to get something for dinner. So we were already out getting the new scratching post for the cat. So that is right beside where you work. So we stopped by. And there you were.
There I was.
In the produce department, killing it.
Uh-huh.
Who was some other employee came up and you tried to get me thrown.
Front end manager.
You tried to get me thrown out of the store.
Yeah.
And she didn't know who I was. So she was like, why? Because I'm your dad.
Yeah.
Nice. So 1 week away from
Fan
Expo. I want to keep calling it Comic-Con, but it's not, right?
No, that was the other one.
But it's similar idea.
Yeah.
And as big, you're thinking?
It's bigger than the other one.
It's bigger? Oh,
well, it's in the same place, but there's like more stuff and whatever.
And your plan is to still stay
somewhere
farther away from there than here?
No, they're not. They haven't really, like, their move's not as far along, so the plan's changing actually.
Oh, so what's the new plan?
I want to just go here, but Mom's saying like maybe go here and like switch around houses, which
for sure
I think is kind of counterintuitive because that's just more difficult.
But it gives everybody a time at their own house and every family a break from
but I don't
many
know
teenage
why we have
boys.
to keep moving.
Although I guess you're just kind of here for the night and then gone again, right? So
yeah, I'm not sure what we're doing yet, but also probably see Philip as well. He's actually
your uncle.
He's actually there. He said he's got a thingy.
Oh, at the thing, yes.
He's
I
actually
heard
there.
They're putting a booth at the. I forget what it was for.
I don't know. Something that he does.
I know. We're so dumb.
He does too many things.
He does a lot of things.
I don't do that many things.
So I don't know if he's promoting something. Probably.
I would assume. I don't. He said it's. I think the word he used was installation.
Oh yeah, they're doing an installation, some sort of art thing, probably.
That's the word. Yeah.
Could be graffiti.
I think
could
it was
be mural.
something where you can do a thing.
Oh, so it's like interactive.
I think.
That's
I don't
cool.
actually know.
That sounds cool.
Yeah, and then like basically near Metro, which is the convention center, this is super interesting for non-Toronto people.
That's okay. They know there's timestamps. They can jump ahead.
On the street, like the one street, like that's right near that's where Carnita is, and then also
La Carnita,
the Bevy adjacent cafe, the one that's in the CBC building.
Right.
Not the actual Bevy.
That is owned by your uncle?
Not the actual pink one.
I haven't seen the second one yet. I've only
I
seen
swear
the
we've
pink
been
one.
there a while ago because the whole office bit looks familiar.
I think we've been in the office part before, but I haven't seen it since.
It's kind of like I don't know. It's kind of upstairs
since your uncle's place got finished. But that's cool.
Mm-hmm.
So that's exciting for you. So you're just trying to get through this week. You're working every day, which is pretty awesome. So that's big money right before you go somewhere expensive. So that works out well.
And then we'll have to go through changes because I'm absentee
for the recording, so I don't know what we're gonna quite do, but there's gonna be something published on next Saturday, whether it's just me doing something quick on my own or us actually tackling NXT Arrival and getting that up there. I'd probably still talk about Dynamite quickly, or
the sad part is that'll take us so long to get to the NXT I actually want to watch.
Right.
That's the sucky part.
But we just gotta start chipping away at it, and then I might get a guest host. We'll see if I can get one in. Down in the studio, sort of a lay person to wrestling, to say the least, I would guess.
Yeah.
Might make for an I was at Paul's and he thought that would be an interesting idea. He's like, I'll listen to it if this person who I may ask to come on is on. I don't want to say anything to get anyone's hopes
person
up.
here.
Someone super famous. It's going to be a huge draw. Going to do
in Keswick, yeah.
Big ratings, buddy. Big ratings.
Famous in I've heard. Apparently, I remember one of my friends told me that some people call it the Wick.
It is the
Wick.
Wick.
That just bothers me. That's just horrible.
That was
That's just dumb.
The school basketball team was called balling in the Wick or something like that.
That just doesn't sound right.
I know.
It doesn't lend itself. Like off of that, then me and my friends were talking about different ones you could do, and my favorite is you go to East Gwilly, you know.
Yeah,
you know
East Gwilly. Or
you go to the Soggy.
What's the Soggy?
Mississauga.
Oh, Mississauga. Sorry, I didn't know we were expanding
Soggy.
past our area.
Yeah, but it's
the Schwa. That's one.
The Schwa. That's just
one sounds good.
That doesn't work though.
The Schwa sounds good.
It's better, but it doesn't like. It's just like taking half a word, and it's just that,
it is.
That's dumb.
Don't have time to say all the syllables, you know.
Okay, so then I'm going.
Busy
I'm going
person.
to Fan Expo at the toe. It doesn't work. See.
Big Smoke.
The 6.
That too. Big Smoke is a nickname for it.
That makes a little more sense to me. I don't know,
That should
understand
be
what
Hamilton,
it is, but
really.
like, why they got like a big factory or something?
For Hamilton,
What?
haven't you noticed when we're on our way there, all of the factories pumping out smoke?
I don't pay attention to things. What's that Hamilton? That's just Bounty Hunter, right?
Yeah,
That's the only thing I'm paying attention
and
to.
the restaurant you like that's now here too.
Oh, Meltwitch.
Meltwitch.
I got it.
Yeah.
Mom refused to get me that when
She's not a big fan of Meltwitch.
Okay. That's dumb. Well, that's because she got the wrong one. She didn't get the one I get.
I think she would rather eat something else. And there's a million restaurants in that little
Yeah, well,
plaza.
I'd rather not eat Korean, so
I guess.
boom.
Well,
Even Steven.
yeah, but Korean's awesome.
No, I want my mac and cheese, grilled cheese.
Yeah.
Yo.
With
Ketchup.
sriracha
Sriracha.
in it.
And
Yeah.
all the things.
It's an interesting sandwich for sure.
It's my sandwich.
It is good.
Yeah.
I don't know. Anything else new this week you wanted to discuss before we get into wrestling related things? We're going to talk about
No.
Dynamite. We'll talk about NXT. We'll talk about Impact. We'll touch on
Maybe
some
main
main roster. Cherry picking that.
Nothing else really. No, because All In would be next week. Maybe I'll at the very least I'll send in picks.
Okay.
I'll just either I'll type them up on a doc or I'll just text you picks,
Yeah, that's fine.
and then I've got a presence.
So I got to add that in too then, eh?
Yeah, you gotta do it this time.
Well, you could record that anytime and I could put it in.
That's true.
Right? So anyways, okay, let's get started. First segment, as it is every week for the last 161 weeks, we'll take a look at some of this week's wrestling news and rumors. All right, taking a look at the ratings, as we always do. NXT averaged 680,000 viewers, down 12.4%. Earned a 0.19 in the key demographic, down 17.4%. So I don't know if it's a coincidence. I don't think it is, but there was very little in the way of main roster talent on this episode, with the exception of a little backstage promo with Dominic Mysterio and Rhea Ripley announcing that they'll be teaming up for Heatwave.
next
Yay! I'm gonna go over the card for that as well because it's, I think, a little lackluster, but we'll get there. Anyways, sorry, Dynamite.
Oh, we're talking about lackluster TV specials, huh? More on that later.
Correct.
Oh,
Correct. Dynamite averaged
Nailed it.
874,000 viewers this week, which is up 3.3%, and earned a 0.32 in the key demographic, up 10.3. I didn't bother with Collision because I don't really care that much. So NXT down a decent percentage and Dynamite up a little bit. It looks like the main roster people is actually a draw because there was nobody in action this week.
why is?
And their numbers suffered a bit. What do you have for us? I have, I don't know, 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe 5
Okay,
stories.
3 or 4. I just need to get my thing.
What you
back
got?
open.
The big one?
And I'm getting it back open. It's coming. Hold on.
All
It's
right.
loading.
This
It's
is good podcasting
processing.
right here. Professional.
Uh-huh.
Hey,
Okay.
nobody pays a dime for this, so we're worth every penny,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm. Yeah. So big news that's legal related
Yeah.
is Ace Steel is now considered an insurance
Oh.
risk by AEW and is
faked-
banned from shows.
You faked me out.
Boom.
So, but
Probably
he's
'cause of
still with
the-
the company, right?
I don't
Because
think so.
I thought that was like the big deal breaker. Punk wouldn't come
I
back
don't
without
know.
him.
Well, this would make me think that he's not. I'll try to
Not at shows. That doesn't mean he's not.
But then what
getting a
does he do
paycheck.
then?
Well, probably nothing. It just means they got Punk back because that's what they wanted, and Punk negotiated his buddy
trying
a
to figure
sweetheart deal.
Where is?
I wouldn't be
it?
surprised.
Okay, here's the thingy again. I'm just trying to look to see if he is. Is he?
'Cause I think-
he is. Although he's on AEW's
Yeah,
payroll.
exactly.
He was insurance without it, and he can't attend shows.
Right,
He could return to AEW while not being
because he
with the
bites
company
people.
because he bites people.
He is an amateur cannibal.
Khan's also consenting to Steel seeking work without AEW or out with AEW. What does that mean?
What?
Out with. I thought it was without, but it says out with.
That's weird. That might be just a typo. I don't know.
I guess that's what you're saying then.
In more legal news, a former WWE writer who alleged both racial discrimination and wrongful termination in a lawsuit against the company and several individuals has voluntarily dismissed the suit without prejudice against all defendants except the WWE. What do you think that would look like?
Vince.
so to me, and they're speculating it in the article a bit too, that it's likely, possible, likely, whatever, I don't know, that this person are working on a settlement with WWE, right? Like basically you're like, we're not suing anybody else now. We're only suing you. So you just need to make us an offer.
Hush payment.
Right. And then it all goes away.
We love a good hush payment.
Yes,
here.
it happens all the time.
Yeah, it's a very typical thing in the
Very
world of pro
noble.
wrestling.
Yeah, it is.
It's just, every day it's like title match here, pay-per-view there, hush payment there.
Pay to make it go away, man. This is unfortunately.
That's the saying. It's pay to make it go away.
Pay to make it go away.
That should be a T-shirt.
Yep.
And it's just like,
Make a
then
shirt.
it's just that's the new Vince shirt that they can sell. I would pay to make that shirt come
Pay
to my house.
pay to have him go away.
I don't think we got enough.
No, for sure. Definitely not. What are you saying?
So the actual thingy, it kind of came out of nowhere that
Continuing legal news.
More legal news. Cash Wheeler was arrested and charged with aggravated assault with a firearm, which is interesting.
Yeah, I was surprised by this.
What was it? I saw a post that actually had. I showed you.
I saw somebody posted the logo from Road Rager. Remember AEW did that show?
Yeah,
they were like, time to bring back Road Rager or something along those lines.
So that's funny. Yeah. So the road rage incident happened on my birthday.
Nice.
When Wheeler allegedly flashed a firearm at the victim. A warrant was issued for his arrest the following day, and on August 3rd, his lawyers wrote a plea of not guilty. His bail was set to $2,500. He must turn in all of his firearms while the case is going on. He's not allowed to have contact with the victim. He was not forced to hand over his passport.
That's big,
since
right?
The case is ongoing. People
he can travel, probably.
are assuming that he will still be able to make it for All In.
Yeah, otherwise that's a problem, right? My immediate assumption was they put Punk in instead.
That would just be the grossest thing ever. I was thinking like they could just replace it since they're the champions. It's a lot harder to replace. It'd be different if we'll say Nick Jackson was getting in trouble because he's the younger brother, so I'm putting him as the Jeff Hardy in this situation.
Sure.
So that's why I picked him. So it'd be different if like Nick's in trouble and then they just got to replace the Bucks, right?
Yeah.
As disappointing as that would be, it's easier from their standpoint. Just like it's just challengers. You know what I mean? Champions is a lot different.
That's right. You can't really, and I think Punk would be the only person because they even have a joint team name that they could plug in there.
It's the one of my least favorite team names, and believe
it's
me,
not the best.
AEW's got some bad ones, but I would put CMFTR up there because it doesn't work. And the worst part is
what was
that
the meat one? That one was good.
Magic Meat. Yeah,
that's good.
But see, the thing that makes Team FTR worse is that you've had FTRKO and MJFTR, both of which work perfectly.
Right.
And that just doesn't work.
There's
so it's up there with Naturally Limitless and.
I used to watch Championship Wrestling a lot. I haven't. I should actually check it out again at some point. It's kind of funny. But anyways, they had a team called Beef Candy. I think it was. Because one guy's like the muscle and one guy's like the pretty boy.
It's like that Books and Looks tag team that's at Smash.
Right.
Halal beef
continuing our legal theme.
Oh my
good
God.
old Tammy Sitch.
I saw something.
Did you see a picture of her?
Yeah.
Took me a couple minutes to like confirm. I zoomed in and I'm like,
I saw like people saying like one of the posts was most downloaded celebrity in 1996.
Yes.
She's in bad shape, man. I rewatched the Cultaholic did a video on her because I think did we watch the.
We watched something about her.
It was her and Candido. Did she have her own?
Was that Dark Side? No, she was part of Candido's.
Okay, so we watched that, but then I also rewatched Cultaholic has like an hour long on her. I think it's an hour long. No, that was the Benoit one. I also watched one on Benoit, so that was just cheery.
Right. Good times.
Anyway, so I rewatched the video on her, and it's just she always looked. I always thought like she definitely started to look worse, but this is like I did see the recent picture of her.
This is shocking.
And I need to see if I can find
hard
the
to
comparison.
Believe it's the same person, honestly.
It almost doesn't look.
But anyway, she has pleaded no contest to DUI causing death, and now faces up to 25 years in prison.
How is she still not?
Do you know what no contest means? Because I looked it up technically, right?
I don't.
Because I didn't. So it means to plead no contest means you accept the conviction, but avoided admission of guilt.
What? I don't. How does? What?
So you're not saying you're guilty, but you are willing to go to prison for 25 years. So I don't.
So what's the difference?
Seems like a very subtle difference to me.
Oh, I think I got. Where is it?
So she can always say like, I never said I was guilty, I guess.
But how does that help at all?
When you're going to rot in prison, I don't think it does. But So, no contest to felony DUI causing death,
Was it Poison Rana?
driving with a suspended license causing death, 2 charges of DUI with damage to property, 4 counts of DUI with damage to a person. So, bye-bye, Tammy Sitch. Drug problems, I would suggest. A life
I'm
of
mad
drug
I can't find the post now.
and
but
unchecked mental health has led us here, but
yeah,
unfortunate.
she's bananas.
But she needs to be, she's a danger, right? So we need to protect society, unfortunately, from the likes of her.
Mm-hmm.
What else you got? We leaving the legal angle
I
now?
have nothing else.
In the sad news this week, just kidding, who cares? Lacey Evans done with WWE.
I saw someone say she should go in the Outcast, and that just...
No, that is awful.
That's
now to be known as Macy Estrella.
I want her to go to AEW and do the thing she did on the main roster. Just come out, do her entrance, and then walk back.
Do you know what her her last match was? Which is a feather in her cap?
Well, was it that thing with Liv Morgan? Or
It was a dark match lost to Zelina Vega on the way out the door, doing the right thing.
She lost to Zelina Vega. She did the NXT
over.
thing, yeah.
Yeah.
I just wanted to note something. Because I was trying to find that post where it was comparing 90s
Yes,
Sunny to now, but so I was looking at Poison Run. I loved this post. It made me happy. It's
yeah, I see that.
for those
that
who
meme.
don't. It's guys literally only want one thing, and it's effing disgusting. And then they put a picture or a graphic of Omega and Ospreay.
We don't want to open that door for you.
I subscribed to that.
I have 2 more things. A new report emerged Tuesday regarding a discussion argument between CM Punk and Jungle Boy Jack Perry.
It's just CM Punk and insert name here.
On a past AEW collision. According to the report, Punk felt Perry was throwing a temper tantrum over his desired use of real glass, despite production doctor Shivani recommending otherwise. Punk's claim was that he was asked to step in and calmly said that they don't do that on Saturdays. If he doesn't like it, he could stay on Wednesdays.
Why would Punk step in?
Other people, because he is the collision guy.
I hate. That's why I don't like collision. You can't. No wrestling show should be like a kingdom ruled by a wrestler. Like this is. I've seen people. This is getting to like WCW Hogan almost. Like not quite, but we're on our way there.
It's not a.
It's not
long
unlike
trip.
that.
No, and so others in the locker room referred to it as an argument between the two, and I guess basically Jungle Boy had a vacation plan. They wanted to do some sort of car angle that would write him off TV. He wanted to use broken glass. They said no. Jungle Boy was upset.
I think it's dumb considering we just saw a bunch of broken glass on Rampage on the same network.
I think it's that new rule where they have to get it all cleared, right? And I guess it wasn't cleared.
I think that's dumb though because they just did it.
Yeah. Let's see, what else do I have? Final thing was the Heatwave card. I don't know if this is complete because it's only 5 matches I have right now.
That seems about
5 or 6. Seems
apropos.
That's takeover length for sure.
That seems apropos. They don't typically tend to do like.
So I'm pretty excited about
a lot of matches or big matches.
2 of the 5. Let's see if you can guess. Rhea Ripley, Dominic Mysterio taking on Lyra Valkyria and Dragon Lee.
That one.
No. Wish don't really love when they do mixed tag matches.
Yeah, that's why.
But we'll see. Ilya Dragunov, Trick Williams.
Oh, that one.
Nope.
That one.
Heritage Cup, Fraser and Noam Dar.
No, that one doesn't seem very good.
Wagner and Corbin.
That's the one.
Dream
there
match.
it is.
Some would say a dream
there
match.
It is.
And championship for NXT, Carmelo Hayes and Wesley. So I am looking forward to that one, especially after this week's NXT, which we'll talk about. And the Heritage Cup match, I think, will be really good. And everything else I could leave. Little bit of my interest in Dragunov Williams is waning from this week's NXT.
Oh, yeah.
We'll get to that too. I talked to you about that already. And Wagner Corbin, I don't know. I don't really care. It's there.
Neither of them are great.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's the end of news and rumors. I guess we move into our in-depth review of Wednesday night's offering from AEW, and that was this week's episode of Dynamite. It's a rare occurrence this week because I don't think either of us are super excited to talk about Dynamite, and that is not the usual. Yeah, it was disappointing to say the least, I guess. But we will talk about it as you open this smoked cheddar I brought you.
This one's not smoked. Don't
lie
to me.
Not smoked
Don't
cheddar.
you lie to me.
Regular old cheddar.
It's old. Emphasis on the old, though.
And I grabbed a couple of these Korean, I don't know, are these cookies? Biscuits?
They're good.
They're good. Like me too. So talk about Dynamite, though. In between cheeses.
Yeah. So we open the show with Orange Cassidy, and Wheeler Yuta for the AEW International Championship, which I kind of missed. We haven't got this in a few weeks. I feel like we should get back to this.
And I almost want to say the entire show peaks right here.
Yeah, and it's not a massive peak either, though.
No,
I was a little disappointed if I'm being, but in a general sense, I do.
it is relative.
I want Orange Cassidy to go back to this because there's some great matches. There's a great
absolutely.
stretch. He had a great stretch, so I think we need to get back to that because he's still kind of on a roll. Is he involved in the Stadium Stampede? I don't remember. No.
It feels like we went through an era of hot trios matches opening, and now we're in an era of hot
It's Orange
Cassidy defenses, right?
I'm missing the trios matches too. I'm kind of angry that Collision took that away from us because I feel like that's kind of bull. Okay, no, Cassidy is in the Stadium Stampede. Okay, I thought so.
Nice.
Anyways, some of the notables from the match. There was a suplex on the outside that had a nice thud from Cassidy. There was a pile driver on the ramp from Yuta. Cassidy hit a beach break for 2. Yuta hit a superplex and a diving splash for 2. Cassidy hit a Michinoku driver for 2, and then a running PK after the kickout. Claudio Mox came out, and Cassidy kind of had a paradigm shift to Yuta while looking at Mox. Cassidy connected with an orange punch, but he couldn't capitalize because of the hand targeting that Yuta was doing earlier, and also it's a prior injury.
Yep.
You rolled him up the seatbelt for a near fall. Then Cassidy countered pile driver and sat down on a pin to get the win and retain. Then, of course, we get a Blackpool beatdown after, right?
Of course.
Immediately. Then Best Friends tried to make the save, but they got beat down as well. Lucha Bros came in for the save, and they cleared the ring. Then Blackpool were going to go back on the chairs, but then Eddie Kingston came out, and the brawl resumed, and he and Claudio brawled on the entranceway and then back into the ring. And then eventually Blackpool get out of Dodge, and Kingston challenges them to Stadium Stampede at All In with that assorted baby faces against Blackpool and whoever they can get.
Yeah, Stadium Stampede in Wembley is a really good idea. I think it feels a bit thrown together because we're like a week away, but
a little bit, but I'll take it.
Yeah, I thought this was another very good Orange Cassidy match and defense on his string here of defenses. But yeah, and I do kind of hope it'd be cool if Best Friend come away from this feud with Blackpool elevated. Like, I don't expect them to get the better of Blackpool, but Best Friends have been there forever. Have they since beginning?
Pretty much. Pretty close, at least.
Feels like it. And, like, they've played a valuable role, right? They always have good matches. They're fun. The crowd likes them, but they never really win. So it'd be nice to reward them if they can. Again, I don't think they're coming out of this beating Blackpool, but if they can at least get some momentum.
I mean, they picked up... no, I was just trying... Never mind.
Great to see Eddie back. He got a really good reaction from the crowd, right? And again, I think Stadium Stampede will be fun.
Yeah, it's a cool choice.
Yeah, good start to the show. Wish it maintained or got better from there.
It's basically a second Anarchy in the arena, but
yeah, I think
But that was really great, so I'm not.
That's what it feels
complain. Like. I thought it was a pretty good opener. I think Cassie's run has had far better ones though.
Yeah.
I think he knew to work well together, but and I thought it was solid. Just I feel like it could have been better.
Right, it was good, not great. I agree.
I was expecting better. I feel like. I like the hand targeting because that's a solid strategy. Obviously with the orange punch, and then also the previous matches. Maybe the first one with Yuta, with that I don't remember.
Right.
The post match was pretty good too. Largely typical until Kingston's return, which was cool and a nice pop as well. Nice to get him back in the mix after the G1 has been wrapped up. Stadium Stampede is cool to do in Wembley, and I'm interested to see who Blackpool gets this time. Maybe we get Chris Hero this time.
Yeah, right. Imagine.
I mean, they have 3 spots to fill.
He's not a big name, unfortunately, to us and to other wrestlers.
I don't know. It's an AEW audience, so I feel like
true.
Plus, if they have multiple spots,
yeah.
I mean, then he might.
What
get
do they have?
overshadowed,
3 they have to fill?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
exactly.
a lot.
So, and it's a nice addition to the card for sure, though. And speaking of which, they have officially broken the record.
For what?
I forgot to put in my
the
news,
attendance?
but they beat out.
Oh, did they?
The Mania 32, which is it's the highest paid attendance.
Good for them.
Of all time.
And
it's not Vince, baby.
Until they do something to beat it immediately, as quickly as they can.
Get WrestleMania in London now.
Yeah, exactly.
WrestleMania 40, it's not in Philadelphia anymore.
Cut to Vince having an assistant Google what has bigger attendance than Wembley.
Well,
what has larger capacity? So what are they putting in there? 80,000?
There's like
90?
80,000 something.
So there's
like,
football stadiums in the States. Like Dallas, their football stadium, you could get probably over
That's
100
weird because
in there.
That's weird because I swear they've done. Sorry, what stadium is it?
Cowboy Stadium.
Has WWE done that yet? I know they've gone in like Dallas or whatever that area, but
So 80,000 with an expandable capacity of up to 100, and that would be expandable because a wrestling ring is much smaller than a football field, so they can put seats there, right?
nice, yeah. That is angering. So you know how sorry, I just saw a post and it's the Dynamite's card for next week, so I'm just gonna mention it quick before we go into our next one.
Sure.
Swerve and Fox versus Allen and Wayne next week.
That's cool.
Why isn't that on All In though? You're killing me here.
Might be
they're
too
teasing me.
Too big a step for
I don't
Nick
care.
Wayne, maybe.
That's a way better match. They're killing me here. And then Aussie Open are wrestling.
Nice.
Want to guess who they're defending their ROH tag titles against?
The Acclaimed.
The Hardys.
Oh God.
Yeah. But Elite versus.
Well, I
Bullet
mean,
Club
they
Gold,
earned
which
it
is
by
cool.
losing to the Bucks last week.
I guess.
Interesting.
Then Guns and Juice versus Elite, so that's cool.
Yep.
Omega and Bucks.
That should be
nice,
good.
actually. And that's about it. Oh, there's a face-to-face with FTR and Bucks, and that's it. Moxley Phoenix as well.
Nice.
All right. Oh, wait. They only have, like, one show. They're going to have to, like, fire out Blackpool's people fast. Damn. All right. Interesting. Speaking of Kenneth Omega, we get his sit-down with JR filmed the day prior. They're in, like, kind of an empty arena kind of area. I want to say, I feel like it would have been in Daly's Place or something.
Might have been.
It gave me that kind of vibe. Omega said that Don Callis was always around in his childhood when he was growing up. He said the way Callis guided and made Omega the great athlete he is. He said you can't choose your family, and Callis felt like an uncle to him. He said he just wants to move on. He didn't want Callis to get into his head. He said he goes back with Takeshita, and they showed clips of like young Takeshita and young Omega in I think DDT. And Omega said he's going to take Takeshita away from Callis, and then Callis interrupted, and Omega got out of his chair, but then he got jumped by Switchblade and Juice Robinson.
Right.
They threw Omega into a garage door, and then Takeshita came in and he hit him in the back. I think it was a piece of wood or something.
Yeah, it was a big old piece, like a Hacksaw Duggan sort of move.
Yeah. And then Callis was trash talking him, and then that was it.
Yeah, I like the story they're telling. I didn't love Kenny here. I thought he felt like dispassionate and a little disconnected considering like the magnitude of what he was talking
I don't
about.
know. I feel like that could have kind of been the point.
I don't know. I guess.
Because like I thought what he was kind of saying was I like that he was like not wanting to get obsessed with that and focus on Callis and get all too amped up. So I feel like what you're saying could kind of be part of that. Like he's not. I feel like the typical thing is to get super amped and just obsessed with getting payback. He just seemed
detached a little bit from it.
And maybe that's the point because of his relationship to Callis up until this point. But
could be. I do like the idea that Callis is trying to replace Omega with a younger model basically in Takeshita. I thought the attack afterward looked pretty good. I just wasn't feeling Omega that much in this.
I liked it though. In contrast to Callis, who's dead set on making his life miserable and replacing him, even though realistically Kenny did no wrong to him, and whereas Kenny's just kind of trying to put it behind him, and other than fading Takeshita, I hope we get that all out. Then I guess that's my consolation is I get the trios and the Omega Takeshita. It was cool to see Black or not. Why do I keep the BC always trips me up. Bullet Club Gold getting in on this was cool. Nice to see Juice and Switch back on the main show. And I'm going to say that about a few people. It's just nice to see people on the main show. Not sure how they factor in other than perhaps White's past feud with Kenny in New Japan. That's the only thing I can think of. And Callis is kind of... I feel like it might be like a similar thing to his loose affiliation with Ospreay. I could see Callis just trying to manipulate anyone into going after Omega again. Anyone who's had like a past grudge with him.
Yep.
I feel like that could be kind of a thing. And try to take out... to help him and Callis and Takeshita. Sorry, I'm tripping here. I'm assuming at least some tag match and Takeshita with Switch and Juice would be a sick trio for sure.
Yep.
Then we get a mini update with Hangman outside an ambulance because obviously the attack was in theory the day before. So there's that. And then Hangman said if they were going to drive all the way to Jacksonville for a beatdown, it better be good and you have to finish it. So it was in Daly's place then. Hangman says Kenny's in the hospital and he isn't finished and he isn't friendless. He said all in, it'll be Kenny, himself, and Ibushi. He's back alongside Kenny. And all in, they will finish the beatdown that the heel people started. And then, like a hospital, I think he was a security guy or something.
I think so.
He came in saying Hangman can't have a beer there, so he just chugged in and gave it to him.
I thought that end part was straight, kind of cheesy.
Yeah.
But the rest I thought was fine. And excuse me, is it because he's elite that he has the beer again? Because the drinking thing's been gone for a while, but now he's back with the elite and he's got beverages again.
Maybe, I don't know.
But anyways, this was really quick and it was fine.
Yeah.
Of all the things on this show, I didn't really have a problem with.
I thought it was pretty good. He sounded solid. But it was more about the announcement. I'm looking forward to that though. Probably one of my more anticipated matches now. Just like on paper, it looks really great.
It does.
So, I'm liking that for sure. Speaking of things I am so excited about. Next we get Jericho's decision and
we do
everything that comes with it.
Yep.
So Jericho and Callis are in the ring, and he said his answer was yes. Yay!
And yeah, Callis is pretty much yelling over the crowd who still hate him, and he gets a really good reaction.
It's always great. Callis was surprised by it, and they hugged in the ring. Callis said it's great, and he wanted to leave to go celebrate and go to a bar or whatever. Jericho wanted to see the painting that was in the ring, and it had like a sheet over it or whatever, so you can see it. Callis said there's another picture of them with bad news and tried to rush them out. But then Jericho took the cover off, and it's Callis holding Jericho's severed head.
Yep.
Which is pretty funny. Jericho was wondering if this meant that Callis thought he was going to say no. Callis claimed the artist screwed up what he wanted. And Jericho knew he was lying, so Callis admitted he didn't think Jericho would say yes to him. He thought Jericho would say no because of his massive ego. This coming from Don Callis.
Right.
Callis told Jericho, in the business of egomaniacs, Jericho is the greatest at that, from Don Callis. Callis called Jericho a narcissistic egomaniac, and he said that Jericho didn't deserve to be in his family.
Even though you begged him for weeks to join.
Jericho responded to Callis, saying 3 years ago Callis was not doing anything. Now he's diving in AEW, and Callis has lost every personal relationship in his life. He said Don is a piece of trash and an a-hole. Callis slapped Jericho, so Jericho tried to attack him, but then Takeshita arrived to beat him down. Jericho fought him off because obviously he's way better than the youthful Takeshita, and that's when my boy, Mr. Ospreay, returns to jump Jericho. Then he hit him over the head with the chair, protected. Jericho turned over so he could blade, and oh my god, Jericho's bleeding.
He is.
Then Callis hit Jericho over the head with the painting, and then Guevara made the save with the Floyd the Bat.
Right.
You want to go first?
So, one of the things you said was Jericho was criticizing Callis for like severing every relationship he had recently. Says the guy who just had all members of his group walk out on him to his face.
There's that, and so
now this feels like this whole thing was to make Jericho a baby face.
Pretty much. The thing with you're saying, so Jericho is chastising him for A, being a dick, and B, for severing all of his connections when Jericho just lost his faction and also said yes to joining his faction.
Correct.
So, like, let's say, and then also now, then on the other side of this, Callis is calling him a giant egomaniac and thought he would say no. But then to your point, he's been begging him for weeks and he destroyed Jericho's faction to get Jericho into his, but then he thought he was going to say no, so he had a painting made.
And then has a heel promo in the chamber ready to fire out at the guy that's...
And then to that point, Jericho was ready to go back to quote-unquote his roots and be like a douche with Callis, but then he comes out of the gates with a babyface promo.
Right.
And then also, if there's no painting here, then they would be aligned.
Correct.
Like, that's basically
because Callis got the painting made, and
because he brought it out. Like, what I was thinking is, if you really wanted to have a painting of that, just to be, because it's Callis.
Yes.
I think having the painting in general is not the issue. The issue is bringing it out and just having it in plain sight. I think he should have had another one of them together made.
He should have had two paintings.
Exactly.
Yes.
And then
for regardless of which situation
and then
occurs.
You can facilitate some other reason to have them turn on each other, because this is just the best way to describe it is a contradictory mess that they could have done
and
much
if Jericho,
better.
And imagine if Jericho looks at it and it is a painting of them together, and then he accidentally knocks that one off and behind
then
it.
do that. Exactly. Right? That's fine.
At least,
because then at least it makes more sense for it to be out there. This is just that, and like, why wouldn't Jericho? Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just kind of dumb.
I haven't enjoyed this angle, and I feel similarly about this segment.
I feel
and
like
it was lengthy too.
It's not a payoff I wanted, but I still think it could have been executed better.
I don't know, man. Neither of them really make a ton of sense if you look back at the whole thing, right?
I kind of glossed over everything because we were kind of just talking about, but I basically what I said is just like they're both contradictory, and it's so confusing because they both just like he just agreed to him, but now he's against him. He didn't think he was going to join, but it just doesn't make sense.
And if you don't really like each other, why did we do this dance for a month or whatever then?
Yeah, because I feel like I don't have an issue with them like pretending to be friends to try like MJF and Guevara, remember in the build up to Double or Nothing?
Yeah.
That was them pretending to be friends and like kind of like but that had a purpose and that actually made sense.
Yes.
And that was good. And this was not.
No, it wasn't.
Furthermore, I didn't really understand why Ospreay is here. I love him, and in a general sense, I'm stoked to see him again. However, now my dream is fully dead as 2 matches that aren't the one I want have been confirmed. And also,
Jericho Ospreay is
thing
not.
I didn't really want is now happening. Like, I don't understand why Ospreay and Jericho is the match. I don't get it. If you want Jericho on the card, fine, give him someone else. If you want Ospreay on the card, give him Omega. It's not that hard. I don't really understand why Ospreay would help Callis. I know they're loosely affiliated at Forbidden Door, but that felt like more of an enemy of my enemy is my friend kind of thing. But then I feel like I kind of answered my own question. I kind of thought about it. Then maybe it's Callis kind of calling him in to return the favor. I guess you could see it as that, because I don't really see them as affiliated, but Callis did play a decent role in the turnout of Forbidden Door, so I could see it as kind of a returning the favor kind of thing. I just wish Ospreay was more of a dick and didn't return the favor,
right?
Just so then we don't have to get this match.
But we're getting it.
I think like, why couldn't Callis have picked someone that has history with Jericho to deal with Jericho? Because let's not forget, Callis is dealing with Omega too. So wouldn't he want to like either pay Ospreay or whatever, do whatever, get Ospreay to jump Omega? Because Ospreay is already itching to probably beat Omega again. Like, the grudge is there. Why would Ospreay go after someone he hasn't faced twice this year?
Yeah.
That he hasn't gotten bloodied by. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't make sense. Even with the logic that Ospreay and Callis are doing favors, you could have Ospreay Omega should have been the thing, and I don't understand why they wouldn't do that.
I know.
And it's gonna be one of the biggest missed opportunities in my opinion. I'm never gonna let that go.
You are not. You'll hear a lot about this, folks.
I don't understand why they could do that. I mean, I'm okay with getting that trios match out of this instead, because that match, but I'm more disappointed in this aspect of it, because I feel like Ospreay kind of got screwed while Omega still gets a good one. You know what I mean?
In their defense, they may be seeing they've already sold like a record number of tickets. We can save that Omega Ospreay for something to really move tickets. They don't need any extra sales here, so maybe they're just parking that for later.
Would get them more buys and whatever, though.
I guess.
But all we can hope for now is Ospreay pulling out anything resembling a banger.
Yeah, hopefully. That would be a feather in his cap if he does.
Yep.
Jericho could put it together for one 15-minute match, I think.
I don't think we're getting another 5-star, though. I don't think
Probably
Ospreay's
6-star. Don't think so.
Yeah, right. Next, we had a quick Jack Perry promo package. He claims he's Mr. Wednesday Night after last week, and he's the greatest FTW champion, and he's going to retire the title next week. This was fine. I thought he sounded decent. But I wonder who's stopping him when he announces he's retiring a title.
Yeah,
a fake title that someone made.
His pre-recorded stuff's better than live, so I thought this was fine. And of course, Taz is playing the super annoyed on commentary, doesn't even want to really start talking about it. So where does this go? It's not getting us Taz, is it? Can't be.
I feel like Hook comes back.
Probably. But anyways, yeah, this was fine. Again, on a show of full of stuff I didn't really enjoy, this was not a problem.
Is the payoff just Hook gets his title back?
And then lets him retire it and we can get rid of it?
But then that begs the question, why give it to Jack Perry? I don't know.
I don't know. Because he said he was winning titles in 23, and now he's not a liar. And they can bury him.
That's like when at King of the Ring 98.
It counts.
Kane was facing Austin for the title, and it was a first blood match. And the thing that Kane also gave was the stipulation he also gave was if he lost, he'd set himself on fire.
Right.
So they gave him the title win, but then he just lost it the next day. So that's like he didn't have to set himself
had
on
a ring.
fire, but like,
Yes.
he just lost the title back. So it'd be like that. It'd be like Jungle Boy did win a title,
That's
but
right.
it's not a real one.
And he lost it quickly back to the same guy.
And he lost it back to the same
And then
guy.
it was retired.
Exactly. Next, we move on to Darby Allin and Nick Wayne taking on the Gates of Agony.
Did this happen? I wanted to see this. Did this match actually happen? What I would like to know. Kinda, I guess. Like, I kind of wanted to see it, but
I don't remember the Gates of Agony doing anything.
I don't either. And I think more than half of this was during a commercial is what I'm trying to get at.
Mm-hmm.
This was like a 5-minute match with 3 minutes of it on commercial.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Annoying.
Yeah, so Gates of Agony attacked Darby and Nick from behind during their entrance. Swerve and Fox came out to watch. Gates of Agony tandem hip toss Wayne into the barricade. Oh, they did one thing. That was nice.
Yep.
Darby had a crucifix bomb on Khan for 2. Wayne hit a Hurricane Run to Leona off the apron. The finish came when Wayne hit the Wayne's World Cutter to Khan, and then Darby hit a coffin drop to Khan at the same time as Wayne hitting a moonsault to Leona on the outside, and Darby picked up the win. Then Sting appeared on the Tron and says Fox better have eyes in the back of his head because they have a coffin match in 9 days. And he has Nana with him who corrects it to 11 days. He says it's showtime, then he scares Nana away. That was something.
So your baby face is abducting people. That's
And
cool.
Being a weirdo.
Yeah, just a really fast match, I guess, to get to the aftermath, right? And the aftermath wasn't anything that interested you or me. So, again, more than half of this is on a commercial. I would have preferred this match get more time because I kind of like Gates of Agony. I just think they're like believable, badass tag team, right? And I don't know if this did.
Yeah,
them
last
any
time
favors.
when they faced Darby and Cassidy, they looked like killers, but this was the opposite.
Right. I didn't feel like we got much out of this match or the Sting segment. It's too bad. I like the talent involved in the match, but I don't really think they gave us much, so I wasn't a fan of this.
Yeah, I was disappointed because I thought this could be a pretty cool TV match, and
those two
didn't...
guys throwing around those
Exactly.
like Wayne and Allen for a few minutes.
We didn't really get any
No.
of that. And I don't think Nick Wayne did much of no either, which is kind of a shame because I thought he looked pretty good in his debut match, and they've just not really done much with him since. I feel like this is a part where Dark would be somewhat beneficial.
Yeah.
To get Wayne on there because ROH is there, but it exists in this kind of middle ground where it's kind of dark, but it's kind of a legitimate thing at the same time. It's kind of stuck in that middle ground. So I don't know. I would have kind of kept Dark around.
They could have done like on Rampage that's his show, like with Hook, if they really just want to build him for a bit.
Yeah, like they should do more with Wayne and to get him on and get him exposure and matches and whatever.
Because this wasn't much exposure for him.
No, this was really
the end little
nothing.
bit was kind of fun, but
post match was whatever. I thought Sting's promo was lame and seemed kind of Joker Sting-esque, which I can't say I was a fan of. I just thought it was weird, and it's just like I don't know. It's like him doing his best Joker impression while still trying to be Sting.
Yeah,
and I guess that's what it is, but I don't like that.
I just excuse me. I don't know why mimicking like a character from a film and like totally ripping it off is cool. I don't
understand.
I don't get it.
I was trying to ask you, like, I don't know if Joker Sting ever worked.
I
know
wasn't a
some
huge
people
fan. I've
liked
never
it,
been
but-
a big Sting guy, so
Yeah, I'm just glad he never auditioned for Dark Knight or Batman '89 because I don't think it would have worked out.
No.
I'm still disappointed Wayne isn't in All In instead, which is the amazing sentence I wrote.
nice.
Yeah,
It's a lot of ins.
yeah, it's not my favorite sentence that I've penned. Next we get MJF and Cole, another bro sesh. MJF took Cole to an Outback Steakhouse since they're facing Aussie Open. After Greasy in the restaurant, no alcohol this time.
Nope.
Just saying.
Learned their lesson.
Maybe that's just because the Australian people don't do that. I don't know.
Oh, they do.
Oh, so then they should have saved it for
do.
here. Why didn't they save it here? It doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
They showed Cole and MJF backstage arena with hats on, and they were watching some. No, that wasn't this yet. They were watching some kangaroo fighting to get ready for Aussie Open. MJ said the kangaroo kick will save Cole's life, and so that's their new plan, I think. There were inflatable crocodiles, and there was an employee in the hallway complaining about it, and they had the double clothesline to him, knocking him into a kiddie pool. Then we cut to them, Tony Khan yelling at them in his office. We don't see it. We just we get a shot at the door and we can hear it. Most confident Tony Khan's ever sounded on television.
For sure.
So I'll give him that. They left the office, and MJF said Tony will regret that come 2024. And then Tony walked out, and he said, "What did you just say?" And then they just all kind of laughed it off, and Tony went back into his office.
Didn't Roddy show up on this one?
No, that was after when they arrived.
Oh, these I wasn't a big fan of this one. Again on this show, they're starting to overwrite these. I feel like what works about these two is the dynamic they have, and you can just keep the other stuff simple and rely on the personalities of Cole
Right.
and MJF.
I think they're getting too
It's a bit too silly. They're jumping the
it's
shark.
a little
as
too
they
goofy.
say.
Yeah, or maybe they're gonna jump the crocodile.
Right. The trampoline park was pushing it a bit, but the dodgeball part of it was kind of fun.
I thought the trampoline park, it was kind of there, but I thought it was redeemable. So I thought this is getting over the shark.
They leaned into
you know?
that tone too much. And again,
Yeah.
they're just making it too complicated. The chemistry these two have is getting lost in the sauce, as they say.
Yeah.
There's too much other stuff going on.
It's a little heavy on the stereotypes too, which I know if it was Canada, then I'd be annoyed. So I should try to be a little annoyed, even though Australia is not real. Remember, it doesn't exist. Okay?
And my last thing says Roddy showing up a bit late again did make me laugh. So did he not show up?
It was after this.
Oh, so am I just combining things?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
You're good. You didn't forget anything this week,
Okay.
right?
Not yet. Well,
What did
we'll
you
see.
forget the other week? What
I
was
had
it? You
one
just
thing
blipped
completely
on,
missing.
It was Blackpool. They talked and you just completely
Completely
blipped on it
missed
for
it.
some reason. Yeah. Yeah, I think they're getting away from what made this great in the first place, and then you go back to that because it can be silly, and don't get me wrong, but I just think they're about to go over the shark, and they need to kind of backpedal and go back to like what made this great in the first place.
They've put the shark in the tank and they've built the ramp, and they're
We're about to
backing
jump
up.
over it. Yeah,
Yeah.
they're revving up. You know,
I hear that's happened with the bloodline as well.
I'd say so. Yeah,
I think people
it's-
are saying the explanation for
I don't think Jimmy's explanation's horrible. I just think it's jump the shark. I don't know if Jay was the right ending, but
it's a lot.
It's jump
Sorry.
the shark for sure.
I digress.
That's a whole nother thing. I didn't talk about that I actually didn't. That was last week, but I just didn't talk about it because I didn't want to.
That's fair.
The bloodline stuff is too common. I just like to keep my high spots more simple. It's just
Yep.
I don't want to get into the blood stuff. Maybe that's the sign is jump the shark.
I think so.
I think right, like because
'Cause
I
we
did
were
talk
into
about
it.
Yeah, it's. I don't know. It's just that's not the same for sure. I don't think we're there yet with this. I
No.
think we're just in danger of it, kind of. And I did write most confident Tony Khan's ever sounded on camera.
Yep.
So
Even though he
that was
wasn't on
nice.
camera.
well, okay, on television, whatever.
Okay, yeah.
There
I know
we
what you
go.
mean.
Then MJF and Cole arrive at the arena. MJF runs off to the washroom because of whatever he ate.
Back
Cole
to back
leaves, and of
segments?
course Roddy shows up too late again. Kingdom until the center, back to back to back.
You
If you want to
can't-
include this as 3,
You can't put something in between these. That was part like it just got exhausting after a while, right? That there was very lengthy. This was a long chunk coming up here.
Mhm.
I questioned the order of this.
And the long segment, while being long, wasn't bad. I agree that the spacing should have been different. Like
I think so.
I think you swap this with the deathmatch fiasco,
Hmm.
and then at least that's a little spaced out.
By fiasco, do you mean match of the year? Sorry?
And I feel like then putting this long segment after that match would probably paint it in a better light,
Maybe.
kind of by default.
Yeah, true.
So
Direct
next we'll hear from
comparison.
MJF and Cole. Cole is talking about how big this match is, and especially after he's come back from his concussion. He said he also gets to do it with one of his best friends, MJF. And he's talked about he's broken records in his championship reigns in the past. And he's not just going to be in the match, he's going to win the match. And he needs to win more than MJF can ever imagine. And he's going to do anything and everything to win the title. MJF said that he has a great story, but MJF has a better one. He said when he started in pro wrestling, he wrote down 2 dream opponents, which was Cody Rhodes and Adam Cole. He said in 2018 he put 90,000 miles on his car because he was busting his ass on the indie circuit. He spoke about the All In show that the first All In, obviously. He said he DM'd Cody to give him an opportunity on the show, and he got a response saying that he was All In, and he got to open the pay-per-view, and he did lose, but he opened the eyes of Tony Khan, and that led him to getting a contract with AEW. He said if there's no All In, there's no MJF. He said, fast forward to 2023, he grew up before our eyes and became a generational talent. He said he became one of the best to ever have done it as the world champion. He said that All In will be in front of the biggest crowd in the history of the sport against the guy that was his dream opponent, and that's become his best friend, and it means so much to him. He said that this match doesn't mean everything to him because the AEW World Title is the only thing that means everything to him. And he said it symbolizes all his hard work, countless hours training, and studying tape until his eyes bled so he could obtain it. He said if Cole thinks MJF will just lay down, then he's out of his goddamn mind. He said he loves Cole like a brother, but a win in Wembley will make him legendary, and he's going to win because nobody's on the level of the devil. Cole says, may the best man win. MJF said the best man will win, and he did his catchphrase, and then Cole did Adam Cole Bebe. Aussie Open attacked them. Cole ended up turning around. Davis dipped to avoid a double clothesline, and then he pulled Fletcher out to avoid a kangaroo kick, because that's something I should type.
Mm-hmm.
Then after Aussie Open left, Cole kind of was setting up
He was gonna super
kick MJF,
but he didn't
when he had his back turned. But then
he's just like, I was just watching your back.
Yeah. And then they hugged it out, and then they left, and then they also showed Roddy and Kingdom watching it on TV backstage, and that was it.
There. Far too long. Just kind of lost interest. I will say, I don't want to be too hard on all of this. Once they did get serious and started talking about the importance of the match, things were way better. But at that time, we'd been watching these guys for so long on this episode and not really getting any wrestling in this first hour, right? We got the opening match and then a couple minutes of a tag match, and then it was all just talking, and mostly by these guys. So there was some good stuff in here. There was just too much other stuff. So I was already kind of out on this.
Yeah, this wasn't a bad segment. I thought it was pretty good, actually. I just felt like it definitely could have been trimmed. Like, I like both of these guys, and they always deliver on the mic, and this was no exception. But it felt like a couple segments that they could have cut into two, perhaps, or like at least trim some of the fat here. Honestly, maybe it's not too long, and maybe it's just, again, the spacing on the show.
Yeah.
That could very well just be it, because maybe if you think about it, it's not much longer than one of the other ones they've had. But again, before we had some spacing between like the bro sesh and this,
they could have let them breathe a little bit.
They've spaced it out better in the past.
Suffocated
I think they could have, yeah.
Yeah.
They've had log segments before, but they could have saved some of this for next week or again spaced it out. Both their stories were good though. I liked them getting into the match more and proclaiming their wins and whatnot. Nice to see Aussie Open on TV again, even though they looked a little dumb here, which I'm not a fan of. But I'm always happy to see them get some time. I like the tease from Cole again. I still think it'll be MJF because MJF as a babyface in a title feud just doesn't make sense to me. However, I like them teasing either just so that there's at least the possibility. So I like that. Then we got a Jericho interview. He blasted Ospreay for attacking him. He said if he wants a piece of Jericho, he'll get him at All In. So he challenges him to the match that I definitely wanted. He says he's gonna make him bleed and blade and drink his own blood. He's gonna get inside Ospreay's head and embarrass him. He says you don't know what you got into, but you've opened hell, and the Ocho is coming for you, Ospreay, or maybe the Painmaker. Who knows?
I thought he sounded good here, and he's definitely like, hey, in case you guys didn't know, I'm a babyface now, right? Especially going into face Ospreay. So I thought he did a fine job here, better than some things Jericho's done. But again, I don't really know why he's a face now necessarily, but he is. So I guess this established that further.
So he confirms the match I didn't want. So hooray!
That too.
I still think it should have been that finale. I don't know why they couldn't just do the right thing. But the promo was solid, though. Nothing inherently wrong with that.
Nope.
Other than the fact that I don't want this match.
Correct.
The dried blood looked kind of funny.
Just and then he's trying to wipe it off his head or whatever. Yeah.
Next we get Jeff Hardy versus Jeff Jarrett in the Texas Chainsaw Massacre Death Match, or I guess the championship, as Jarrett called it.
So let me ask
you,
belt. Do you think in wrestling or in the world in general, there can be things that are just objectively bad? Are there people out here that are like, you know what? There probably are, because there's probably AEW apologists, right? Who are like, this match was good somehow.
But there's no way they actually think it's good.
To me, this is about as close to objectively bad as AEW's probably ever done.
I would say so. Nothing else immediately comes to mind.
This was something else, man.
It was. Yeah.
It was funny because remember we were watching the show, and we usually watch it in two sittings, and I had just seen, without getting spoiled even, somebody's reaction to the match, and it was super negative. So I'm like, oh, now I kind of want to stick around and watch it, and we did. So talk about it.
Unfortunately, yeah. So Jeff Hardy. Oh God, it's Jeff and Jeff.
Mm-hmm.
This is horrible.
Combined age of 98 or 99 or something.
Brother Nero made his entrance, and then he decided to go to this weird backstage area because reasons.
Yeah,
I don't know.
exactly.
Where Jarrett attacked him. Karen Jarrett present as well. He hit him with something, I guess, and Satnam choked him against the wall because he's so tall. Ethan Page and Isaiah Cassidy attacked Jarrett.
There's
then,
like a half dozen other people involved.
Matt Hardy poured the red viscous liquid on the Jarrett couple. And also, to make things better, around this time, the area they were in was bathed in red light, too, which we all know makes for the best wrestling matches.
Of course it does.
Like, any of the Fiend matches,
amazing.
the only good ones are the ones in red light.
Funny you say that.
Huh?
It'll all make sense in a little bit.
That doesn't make sense to me. What, the gals use the green light again or something?
No, you'll see.
Okay. All right.
Trust me.
I swear, was there something else with the
all
red
will
light?
be revealed.
I feel like I don't know. It was mostly just the Fiend, and it was awesome.
Yeah.
Red cages are awesome too. I love red Hell in a Cell. That's
in general,
my
red.
favorite.
It's good.
Just red's so good.
Looks real good on TV.
It's so great when you surround a wrestling ring with the color red.
Mm-hmm.
That's just the best thing to do. After a commercial break, they were fighting in some other area where Jeff Hardy dove off some equipment boxes on a group of too many people.
Many people.
Yeah. Finally in the ring, Hardy beat Jarrett with the kendo stick. Then the Hardys, Cassidy and Ethan Page surrounded Jarrett. Then Jeff Hardy had a twist of fate stunner, so Jarrett conveniently laid on the table. Then Hardy hit a swanton, and the table break was kind of weird, I thought, but that's not really their fault, I guess.
Yeah.
Jay Lethal broke the pin from the swanton, then hit a lethal combination to Cassie. Before Page shoulder tackled him, then low blow Page, then took a twist of fate from Matt Hardy. Then Karen Jarrett hit a really bad low blow to Matt. So I want you to just revisit that sequence and tell me how many people involved in that are actually from the match.
Not many.
Would one
be my answer?
One be an accurate estimate? Because I guess Jeff Hardy getting attacked by Lethal, that is it, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Jarrett tried to hit Hardy with his guitar, but Hardy managed to avoid it, get it, and he hit Jarrett with the guitar. Then as normal match progression goes, you know how you like to build to, every epic match builds to something.
That's right.
Like you have the Tiger Driver and the One Winged Angel kick out in the greatest match ever, and here you have Leatherface,
and you laugh
the same thing
so hard.
Oh, it is funny. It was so funny.
Because this is in support of a video game, we should point out, right?
Yeah, that's
which is also always something that works out well.
Yeah, directly sponsoring matches is the best thing to do. So Leatherface came out and scared away Karen Jarrett, and that's what I was hoping this match would be. This match was just really bad, but I was hoping it'd be so bad it's funny. This was the only part that was actually funny to me, because the literal Leatherface come out is just ridiculous.
And he is a very ineffective killer, because he's swinging that chainsaw. She's sitting on the ramp, and he doesn't advance on her or anything.
I wonder if this is better or worse than RoboCop helping Sting.
I think it's better or worse than the zombie match.
That's true.
That's what I was thinking.
I don't know. I think it's worse, because
I think this was lazier.
I think, because there's a lot more effort going into the zombie. But I think, just from the standpoint, I think it's worse because I don't know, to me, it's more feasible to have zombies, which are just undead people, come out than a literal whatever Leatherface is, a slasher villain coming at you. You know what I'm kind of getting at? Zombies, in the grand scheme of things, I think zombies are slightly more realistic than Leatherface. This is the argument we're having here.
That's our poll question this week: zombies or Leatherface?
What do you think is more likely to come after you?
Right,
a group of zombies or Leatherface? And don't worry, Leatherface won't actually get you either. No. And from what we know from that match, the zombies won't actually eat you either.
No,
so it doesn't really matter. Satnam hit a chokeslam on Hardy. Jarrett got the win, and there was an actual Texas Chainsaw Massacre bell, which was interesting. And it wasn't a great bell, but it reminds me of they had. So I remember in 2K20 they had I don't know if you remember or if you ever saw it. There's that really weird DLC that they called Originals, and there was a bunch of weird different packs. There was the first one, which is the Wyatt one, that was the pre-order where I could get the Fiend. The Fiend was the only normal one, but there was a bunch of weird ones. There was Swamp Father Bray. My favorite name is Frankenstrowman. That's nice. There was Wicked Aleister Black.
I just watched him get crushed in an arm wrestling match.
What?
Braun Strowman.
What?
I don't know. When? I saw some video thing of him losing arm wrestling.
In WWE? Or?
No, in real life.
Anyways, there's a bunch of weird characters, and so what was? Oh, there was For some reason, all the DLCs had different belts that were related to something. Like one of them was, you know how they did the Southpaw?
Yeah.
There was like Southpaw belt, or there was like a futuristic one. There's a digital belt. Anyways, I'm getting away from it. There was the one belt that was the NXT Championship, but obviously color different. It had its skull on the front instead.
Yeah.
It was the Lord of Darkness Championship. It reminds me of that.
Nice.
It's like some weird like fantastical? Would that be the word I'm looking for?
Yeah.
Like fantasy kind of thing? Okay.
Yeah.
That kind of belt. Anyways. That's my bit of digression.
This match was awful. 11 minutes of garbage. I am actually somewhat surprised that this was on AEW TV.
I put on my list, right? I think.
And these wrestlers may be Impact Wrestling guys, but this to me had a late WCW vibe to it where
I don't know. I think given just all the people involved, all the people here were TNA at some point, and TNA was just as bad as WCW.
It's true.
So I don't know.
This was an absolute mess. Never got into like comically bad territory. Just
other than
bad.
Leatherface.
I'm just at a loss that they thought this would be something they should do and what they would get out of it. It's one of the worst things they've done, I think.
Yeah. This was truly one of those moments where you just can only question why something actually exists.
It was such a basic weapons match with far too many other people involved through the whole thing.
Dumb stuff at the end.
Yeah.
I'm truly flabbergasted here. I don't know how this was thought of, approved, and signed off on.
They must have got a bunch of money, I guess.
They got the huge, I think it was like $100K for the food bank or whatever. So
and
at
donated
least
it all.
Something good came out of this.
It was all for charity, so that's something.
At least this was helpful.
Yep.
In some way. This is the second example this year where you don't directly sponsor matches. I agree. This and the Mountain Dew match are both on the list of horrible things this year. So that's why you don't do this. Like,
this is on the list already.
I think the most inoffensive thing you can do is when WWE puts like graphics on during matches, like the women's triple threat that we loved, that had the C4 energy on the screens, which I think also is stupid, but at least it doesn't matter really in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah.
Or like when Ray and Dom and Mania, I think they did the Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
Yeah.
That just doesn't make sense. Anyways, that like you can't just sponsor matches and it doesn't work out. It clearly does not work. I was hoping for this to be so bad it's funny, but the only funny thing was literal Leatherface coming towards the end. The rest of this was just the most boring basic brawling you could possibly imagine. With too many people, one basic table spot. Red Viscous Liquid was a highlight, however. Easily one of the worst matches of the year. Just objectively bad and next to nothing.
I think so.
It's worse than I expected somehow. It was amazingly bad and something I will forever question why it happened and why I had to watch it.
We expected nothing and it underdelivered.
Underdelivered.
That's incredible.
On the promise of nothing.
Yep.
Poor Ethan Page for even being remotely in the radius of this. Just what a gong show. It's
unfortunate.
It was nasty. Moving on to, I guess, a better match by default. Britt Baker versus Bunny.
Yeah.
At least they had the decency to not make Bunny main event because I'm just glad they didn't make her main event.
Yes.
Bunny's back after 6 months and she gets a qualifier for the biggest wrestling show in history.
Right.
So.
I mean, she has a track record of... No, she doesn't. I lied.
She has a large track record.
Falling through the ramp.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
That's why AEW doesn't do that. Because I remember on some of the pay-per-views, I remember on Revolution they had the Revolution where there was the Bucks versus Hangman and Kenny. They had the ramp because I remember Hangman did a buckshot out to the outside, and then they had the ramp to the ring in the Daily's Place days during the pandemic. I can't imagine Bunny wrestled a lot then.
It's my favorite botch I ever saw live, I think. And that's with going to a ton of indie shows where people screw stuff up all the time. It was fun.
Well, it's better because then it obviously goes on TV after. And
the fact that they had to like help her out and then like reshoot that segment was awesome.
That's probably the funny part of that's why it's funny sometimes to not go to something where it's live. Like and then the benefit of taping there.
And remember when you watch the show and she does a normal entrance and the crowd goes wild when she actually steps into the ring successfully. And people would have no idea it's because so she got trapped.
I need to figure out what show that was and just try to find that again.
It was funny.
And one thing that I thought was interesting was I forgot she's like Penelope Ford is still affiliated with her. How long has this random partnership been going on? I don't understand.
I don't know.
It does not make sense to me. And Penelope Ford looks like your average high school goth girl.
She does.
We got a running knee lift from Bunny. That was okay. Iffy looking STO into the middle turnbuckle from Baker. Ripcord rolling elbow from Baker, followed by a sling blade. Butterfly suplex from Baker for 2. Fisherman neckbreaker from Baker for 2. Penelope Ford took Baker's glove away. Then Bunny had a super kick with distraction. Baker came back with super kick of her own and a curb stomp for the win.
Yeah, I put average at best. I mean,
Yeah, it was another mediocre match, and I don't think you can really expect much more from Allie.
you knew who was winning, right? Yeah. So, and the action was just okay, and the crowd really wasn't into this either. This
got me questioning
this
Baker
crowd
a bit.
got screwed over.
It's got me questioning Baker a bit, and I think that's dumb because obviously we know Baker's good, but it's just got me kind of concerned because this is 2 matches, and plus the Soho one wasn't amazing, but that one was fine enough, right? So where I'm not gonna fault her for it, but like this is 2 matches in a row on Dynamite where we've actively not liked it.
I wrote as Jack asked during this isn't Britt regressing, right? It's her opponents, right? I don't know, man.
I want to say but that's what we kept saying with Taya too.
So it's in my notes for later, but I'll say it here. Watching NXT, one of my things was to say, what world is this where I've liked the last 2 JC Jane matches and not liked the last 2 Britt Baker matches?
That's not good.
That's a weird state of affairs.
The show hasn't been hitting if Baker's looking bad again.
Agreed.
I don't want to fault Baker too much because it's just she's still good. It's just the deja vu from the last match, and it's just I don't know. She needs to be in something good.
Yes.
For me to just
go. Well, they need to build
back to normal.
Some women. Right, to be interesting would be nice.
That's part of the problem too. There's no build for it either. But like this is 2 matches because the Sheeta title defense with Ann Jake can kind of serve as a qualifier. But then, like, that was part of the issue with the little tournament they had. Is I thought all the matches were a wash. I think you
knew exactly
the most unpredictable thing was Saraya and Sky Blue, and even then I disagree with that for the most part.
Yep.
But like Baker and she had easy passage in. You couldn't have thrown in like Nyla Rose and somebody else like Soho or anyone because there's not a lot of options for built people. So that's why I'm throwing out those 2.
Yeah.
Just at least for some. Because then at least you could give Saraya some babies, like give maybe Saraya and Willow, we'll say that, right? Mm-hmm. And then I feel like at least Sheeta's getting in, but then let's say you have Soho and Baker and Willow and Saraya, then it's like we could obviously assume from that point one of the outcast people would get in with Storm because obviously that's the dynamic we have in the real match. But then it would kind of be the question: is it gonna be Saraya or Soho that gets in, or both of them? Like it's more interesting that way because here they basically just did like. Nothing. It's basically just throwing them in there.
Yes. Here's the women that are going to be in that match, and we're just finding a way to extend it.
Matches on the way, and
that's all it was.
It's nothing really. Next we got a quick acclaimed promo vignette. We got a recap of Billy Gunn's supposed retirement. Bowen said they miss him. It was fine. It was really short.
I just put just so we don't forget that this happened. Basically.
Yep. Then the Acclaimed are supposed to be in action, but after they make their entrance, the lights go out. House of Black appear. They beat down the Acclaimed while Black watches. Murphy throws Caster, who changes this to punch from King, and he's busted open. Pump knee from Murphy to Bones, then a Dante's Inferno. Then Murphy curb stomps the bloody Caster, and they take Billy Gunn's boots.
They do. So I put, it's an off night on Dynamite. Even Caster's rap was pretty weak this week.
I think the issue is you need to give him actual opponents to rap on. It doesn't work, or at least Bear County, where them, they're named at least. When it's just random Bear people, County. I don't think it works because Caster I
didn't even write down who they were facing, to be honest.
I didn't. I honestly didn't even know they were getting attacked. I just didn't want to. But the best roasts or insults are in my opinion, off the cuff, and they're also directed pointing at someone, right? Obviously, it kind of has to be, and I think that's partially why I agree the rap didn't really hit for me, and I don't think that's the fault of Caster. So I think it's really hard to do it generally and still be really interesting.
And see, to your point, when I get to Impact this week, I thought Dango got back on track because he was directing his promo at somebody.
When you have something to focus on,
he was pretty
it's
funny.
A lot better. I thought this was solid though. It was an effective beatdown, and House of Black looked good.
Nice to see House of Black. Nice to see the Dante's Inferno on Dynamite.
Nice to see them back on the main show. See, it's a recurring thing.
Yep.
Clean shaven Malachi is still weird. It's interesting for sure. I'm happy to see them back, but we need to get some trios matches back on. I really like the open house matches they were having. That was cool, and I don't think they've even really kept that up on Dynamite. I'm pretty sure when they faced the Acclaimed and the Billy Gunn, it was just a normal thing.
Yeah.
I think they kind of stopped that, which I think kind of sucked because they had a cool thing going.
They did.
With the like the dealer's choice and whatever. I thought that was a cool thing, and we only got a few, and it was also a nice thing to look forward to on most weeks. And I think having that and Cassidy floating around was a really nice thing to have, like just in your peripheral at all times, kind of deal.
I think I heard the last match House of Black had, they didn't even address the whole House of whatever the rules are.
Yeah,
they didn't do it at all. It's been abandoned.
They faced Acclaimed and Gunn, and they also faced CMFDR,
and they just
perfectly normal.
Yeah, weird.
I don't like that. It definitely seems like Acclaimed and Gunn are being built to take the trios belts, which sucks because I'd like a better unit to be House of Black, but I guess it's a decent story, and it's something for Billy Gunn.
I guess.
It's like a thank you run kind of thing, like PCO and ROH.
One last run, brother.
Yeah, that kind of deal. Next we go to our main event, I guess. Young Bucks versus
By
the
default.
Guns.
Yeah.
Nice to see the Guns back on Dynamite though, which is a really weird thing to say because a year ago that would not be the case.
Not sure main events the spot for them at this point, but
I think
I
this
am
has been
enjoying
a
them
better
more.
opener.
I enjoy them more than I used to for sure.
So I'm alright to see them back on that because I like Bullet Club Gold now. They're kind of like the whole unit.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think Guns are a lot better character wise and a little better in ring wise.
Yeah, they're fine.
I missed that funeral segment though. That was funny.
It was good.
I think that was last year though. I think they would qualify at the end of last year.
So.
I don't remember. The Bucks attacked the Guns during their entrance in the post in the spotlight, which kind of sucks because I haven't actually seen a match where I've gotten to see the Guns' new entrance yet. With the spotlight thing, it looks really cool though. I kind of like that they shoot finger guns and spit water. I think that's kind of a cool thing to do since some people use water in their entrance.
Yeah,
I thought it was kind of cool. But the Bucks attacking them in the spotlight, they look kind of cool as well. Austin tripped Matt, and then Colton took advantage. Then Austin wiped out Nick on the outside. Nick got a hot take flurry. Again, he still doesn't do the kicks. Why isn't he doing this?
Just to spite you?
He's a babyface. He can totally do it now.
He could.
I understand not doing it. I swear he did it more in his heel run than he's done in this babyface run. And
Maybe.
I feel like I'm not even wrong about that. I seem to recall him doing it more. And he would do the bulldog clothesline thing and the knee in the corner, and everyone was happy, and now everyone's sad.
Everybody
is sad. There's a slingshot X Factor to Austin from Nick. Then he flips us the apron into moonsault on Colton. See, still does that. Why he can't do the other things too?
No.
Like, just do the things. It's not that hard, sir. Then the Guns avoid a Meltzer driver attempt. They try to hit one of their own, but Matt counters and rolls Colton up for 2. We get a 310 to Yuma to Matt for a near fall, but Nick broke the pin. Austin mocks Omega going for a feature. Matt avoids it, hits a German suplex. He went for another, but then Austin countered, rolled him into a O'Connor roll, and Colton tried to assist him, but then Nick kicked Colton, and so Matt reversed the pin, and then Nick assisted him to get the win.
Cheaters.
Then Bullet Club Gold jumped them after the bell. So Juice and Switch back on as well. Hooray. Juice about to stomp Matt's arm with a steel chair. The brace will probably protect him given how heavy it is.
It is.
But FTR's music hits, and they make the save for the Bucks. Smash contraption to Juice, and we get a stare down.
Cash didn't pull a weapon. Why wouldn't he just use a gun? It would have been more effective.
It would have been over.
I thought this was a solid tag team match. Nothing spectacular. I like the Guns heel work, right? Always
Cash didn't get angry enough.
Shortcuts and cheating and whatnot. But they're not a main event act at this point. The Bucks did what they do and gave the crowd... I actually felt bad for this crowd. It gave them something to cheer for parts of this, at least when the Bucks were in control. The finish wasn't my favorite. The match was fine overall, but just like an underwhelming cap to a very underwhelming show, I guess. Not a bad match, but not a Dynamite main event for sure. What do you think?
Yeah, it was definitely underwhelming as a main event, but I thought it was a solid match. It just kind of felt like playing it safe here with the Bucks, but makes sense given a huge match coming up in Matt's elbow, already being in a
they weren't doing anything super crazy.
Yeah. I wish we could have gotten more out of this though, because with myself now being somewhat of a fan of the Guns, I would have liked them to get more out of this. Maybe we'll get that next week with the trios match.
Right.
However, it served a purpose and it was perfectly all right. I'm glad to see the whole. I wrote BCC. God damn it. Bullet Club Gold crew. Good to see them all back on. I liked.
Are they BCG?
I like seeing them. I just write BC Gold.
Oh.
But I guess that would work too. Nice as them though. We just gotta get more of that. Juice and Switch especially, they're too good to be kept on the show that I don't care about.
I know,
and
I
not on
agree.
the one I
Juice is
consistently
really
watch
fun.
every week. Yeah, Juice. Like I think when they were beating them down, you could just hear him yelling. And I'm just like, is that Juice?
Just a wild man.
Of course it is. Of course it's just, his pants are wild too.
Yeah.
He had different pants in this in the segment earlier because obviously it was again the day before, but his pants are wild too. And if the guns are along with them as well, I'm fine with that because, like I said, the guns don't completely suck now.
Nope.
FTR making the save is fine. Kind of goes back to the first feud when they wanted the Bucks at 100%. Although I think that goal is a loss because, again, going back to Matt's elbow.
Matt is not 100%.
Thoughts on this show?
One of the weaker episodes of Dynamite that I can remember. I would say the worst one, but maybe there was something back in there. But definitely, I think top 3. Not many things I enjoyed on this show, especially in ring. You had the opener that was match of the night, and it was only a good match in my opinion. Main event was fine. Women's match was okay at best. Hardy Jarrett was a disaster, and the Wayne Allen tag match wasn't really anything because we missed half of it because of commercials. Clearly several notches below in ring this week from what they normally do, and then just otherwise too much MJF and Cole, which is starting to wear a bit thin. Too much Jericho, I just don't care. Just not enough good stuff in general.
And then a stinker of the year contender.
Yeah, and like honestly, a worst match of the year front runner, I would suggest for me. Maybe it's recency bias, but
I don't disagree with that
it's up
statement.
there, man. Just really disappointing show. I want a C-. I if it were in the D range, that wouldn't even be out of the realm of possibility. But I'm giving them a C-. A really just not a fun show to watch at all, I didn't think. You?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was one of the weaker Dynamites in recent memory, at least by a wide margin. It doesn't help that it was a TV special either. I like what they do for Fight the Fallen every year. I like that it's the charity show that they do. I don't really like that, and I'm glad the match that sucked yielded a large donation. However, as a fan of the product, I wish it also yielded a better show in general. I think the in-ring quality was on a downswing here.
Oh yeah.
The opener was solid, but I think too short, and I think it could have been better. And I think the main event was solid, but also could have been better. I think the good matches on the show just were a bit of missed potential.
Yes.
Even the better ones, right? And then you had tag
match,
there's the tag match that
match.
was way too short. That was basically nothing. And also, I guess, kind of fell short of the mark that we were hoping for. Then one of the worst matches we've seen all year. Just a total crap fest. And then a women's match that was mediocre at best. And then segments, the MJF Cole stretch was way too long. I think the last segment they had was pretty good, but it was just kind of the placing really hurt this year.
Yep.
And the comedy segment before that was it was getting to the point of you kind of need to draw it back a bit, which is not where we want to be. Callis and Jericho segment was pretty bad, I thought. In retrospect, just the amount of contradictory things that are here and just the way they handled that was not great. It was a payoff I didn't care about, and they handled it worse than they could have. I thought Omega was solid, and that is about it, I think. So, yeah, I think it's a C show at best. I'd go C- as well, though.
Yep.
I think C- is fair, but I would go C-.
And that's a go-home show too, right?
No, we got one
more.
more.
One more.
We got one
That's
more.
right. That's right.
We got
Okay.
Fyter Fest next week.
Correct, Fyter Fest. So that wraps up our AEW Dynamite review.
And one thing I wanted to mention
Please
I
do.
just remembered is I kind of talked to you about it, but how are we feeling about All In?
I'm underwhelmed.
Yeah.
I'm not like...
Given it's the biggest wrestling show in history, it's a little lacking, at least right now.
And it could, it could over-deliver. It could just have really good work in ring. But yeah, I'm not...
Yeah.
I was more excited for Forbidden Door. I mean, probably because I was going, but...
The card for Forbidden Door still stands as better.
Yes, I think so too.
And I think that's part of the New Japan aspect, but just what they've been putting here. I think they started really strong. I think the first 2 matches announced for All In were fantastic choices.
Yeah.
I think Cole and Jeff made perfect sense. They hadn't jumped the shark yet. We're still not there, but obviously we weren't even talking about that really. And then obviously Bucks FTR is a no-brainer for any big show.
Yep.
And then I think we kind of took a decline with the Coffin match. I think Jericho Ospreay is a disappointment. The other trios match is a good choice. I'm happy with that. But then the women's match is kind of lackluster too. And then Stampede is a good choice. I feel like
very similarly.
It's just like it's good, but it's kind of underwhelming. And there's some missed opportunities there.
Definitely.
Namely one that I might have mentioned before.
You might have. All right, well,
Pre-show match is good though.
let's move into talking about some trivia of my choosing this week in a segment we call Off the Top of His Head. All right, you mentioned him before because his name was in the news a lot lately regarding
I thought it was something
overcoming serious
Highspot related. I
illnesses
was
and
confused.
whatnot. So we're going Bray Wyatt's greatest matches according to AI. Okay, so and there is one thing to qualify here. It says, here's my prompt: provide a brief description of Bray Wyatt's 15 best WWE matches. Be sure to include the year, event, and match type. Okay, so ChatGPT's response: as of my last knowledge update in September of 2021. Okay, so that's information you need. Although, has he had any of his greatest matches since then?
Mountain Dew.
But so I can provide you with the list of Bray Wyatt's 15 best matches up to that point. Please note that there might have been additional matches since then. Here are the matches along with the year, event, and match type.
I think literally just the Mountain Dew match is his only match since then.
Okay, so that's definitely not one of his best. So I'll start at number 15. I will give you the year and the event, and we'll see if you get it right or if they get it right, I guess, too. There's always that. 2021 WrestleMania 37 Night 2.
That's one of his best matches.
15th best match.
No, it's not.
Who was it?
Okay, I can confidently say he's had more than 15 matches, so...
What type of match was this one?
It was normal, I think.
Oh, well, then who are you saying it is?
It was Orton and Fiend.
That's funny. So it's saying it's Alexa Bliss and The Fiend versus Randy Orton and Nia Jax.
Why? Why?
I was pretty sure that didn't happen.
No, that's the one where The Fiend transformed back into normal Fiend.
Oh, he walked through the thing and was...
And Alexa Bliss came in with a giant
melted?
Jack in the Box, and The Fiend lost somehow.
Oh, right.
Just to an RKO.
That was
yeah,
awful.
That's
his 15th best match, buddy.
I don't think the only way that's his 15th best match is if he's only wrestled 15 times. But I can confidently say he's wrestled more than 15 times, so that doesn't even make the top 20.
Fastlane 2021 singles match.
He didn't wrestle in this though.
He didn't?
No. Okay, so this was, remember when they did Alexa Bliss and Randy Orton, and Alexa Bliss kept doing magical, and then the Burnt Fiend came out from under the ring.
Yes.
And that he wasn't in the match. He was there, but he wasn't wrestling.
Apparently, he faced Randy Orton. This is funny.
This just feels like reverse chronological order, not his best matches.
So now WrestleMania, maybe it is. It might be, actually, now that I look. It looks like it is.
Maybe it is, and it says it's like quote unquote.
Here's an original one: 2021 WrestleMania 37 Night 2. Now
did they get it right?
Yep.
Time?
Now they said Fiend and Randy Orton. So 15 and 13.
It's so good. It's like Kelly. So nice you gotta say it twice. It's so good it makes the list twice.
2020 Payback. No holds barred.
No. Oh yeah. Okay.
Triple threat.
It was him and Strowman and Roman. That's
right.
That's the kickoff of Roman's title run. I guess he didn't really do anything. That was just mostly, remember Strowman and him fought. They broke the ring, and then Roman came in and just took the win.
Ring breakage. That's right.
Yeah.
2020 WrestleMania 36 Night 2. Cinematic match.
Oh, the Firefly Funhouse match?
Correct.
I don't know if that's one of his best. I always thought it was better than people said.
That's the Cena one. I wasn't a huge fan. But
I thought it was. I liked it more than the Boneyard match, and people love that.
I was not a big fan of that one either. The Cena matches we weren't big fans of.
Remember the Backlash one? Other than Stadium Stampede. Stadium Stampede's
right.
That's how you do it right.
2019 Hell in a Cell.
That is... What? How is that? No. That's the one with Rollins that was in the red light
Rollins.
And a red cell.
Right.
That's arguably one of his worst matches. I don't think they understand what worst and best means.
2018
Okay.
Extreme Rules.
Would that be... I don't think...
They're saying it's a tag team match.
It would be him and Hardy.
Correct.
And against the B team.
Correct. What's the B team?
That was Dallas and Curtis
Oh,
Axel.
yeah.
Remember after they were done with
Miz? With their cheesy shirts with the Sharpie. Yeah.
Yeah, that. I don't know how that's... I don't think that would even be one of his most notable matches, let alone one of his best.
How dare you. 2017 WrestleMania 33 singles match.
That's Orton again.
Yep.
When he was champion, actually, if you remember that. That was the one, with the projector and it had the bugs and the worms on the mat.
So stupid.
Again,
so stupid.
Not one of his best.
2017 on SmackDown, triple threat match.
Orton and Cena? No, Cena and AJ?
Yes. Why would you know that?
Because this was this is my formative years as a fan.
So it's all memory burned in there?
Yeah, it was like probably his only title defense besides Orton, I would assume.
Wow.
I don't know if that was one of his best. I really don't remember much about that match, other than that it happened.
It did happen. 2015 TLC.
I think that's no.
8-man team elimination tables
okay,
match, allegedly.
I was thinking of no, that makes sense. It was the Wyatts against it was ECW originals, I think.
Correct.
It was
I don't know who were the originals.
Rhino, Dudley's, and Dreamer.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
2015 Hell in a Cell.
Roman.
Correct. 2014 Battleground. Singles match.
Cena.
Not according to
I
them.
don't actually know.
They are saying Chris Jericho.
That could be right. I think that's right. Let me check Battleground 2014.
Okay. 2014 WrestleMania 30.
That's the Cena one where he lost and everyone touts that as kind of killing him.
Correct.
It's that one.
Number 2.
Yeah, Jericho and Bray Wyatt. That's right.
So they
Nice.
know more than you. Number 2, sorry, I almost gave it away there. 2014 Elimination Chamber.
Ooh, that is probably one of his best ones. That's a Shield Wyatt family.
Yes, that's right.
That is.
In a
I
six-man
think
tag.
that's genuinely one of his best ones. Actually, I've heard great things about that. I don't think I've ever seen it though.
And
as a Shield fan.
Number 1, 2014 Royal Rumble.
The Rumble. Him and Brian.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Is that right? Probably.
Yeah, that seems right for the time. I don't know.
You did very well.
You
You know much about one of your favorite guys that's been missing forever now.
Wyndham Rotunda.
One of the few wrestlers we very much disagree on.
I think it's more. I liked him when he was the Fiend. That was good.
All right, so that ends trivia. We'll now go back into talking about some wrestling. It's what we call Highspots and Restholds, where we're going to sort of cherry pick the rest of the week's wrestling that we got time to see. So let's do some Highspots and Restholds. All right, you just found something from Raw. Start off on Monday. What did you get from Raw this week?
The only thing I had was just more JD McDonough because I'm glad he's getting the time of day.
What did he do this week?
I thought this was last week, but I guess it was this week. There was the opening thing, or I think it was opening, where he's involved with Ripley, and Dom just had a message from Balor because he's not there, or Priest is there too, I guess. But and then he was also involved in the beatdown that was at the end of the show.
Yeah.
He hit Zayn from behind, so then the Judgment Day beat up Zayn and Cody, so that was neat. The only thing I didn't love was him losing to Zayn earlier, but that's par for the course, I guess.
Right.
Just at least he got a match on Raw, and he got like involvement in a couple segments, small involvement at least.
That's good.
So I'm just glad to see McDonough doing things.
Me too. He's cool.
The only weird thing I thought was that he regressed to his Jordan Devlin theme.
Did he?
Which is weird.
Interesting.
Which I like that theme, and I always really liked the theme, but I actually found myself enjoying this NXT one better, the JD McDonough theme.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I guess that's fine. It's just it's weird.
Weird. All right. Tuesday night was NXT, and like I said, I think I preferred it to Dynamite this week, which hasn't happened in a long, long time. I think you saw a couple things, but not a lot. So I thought the opening.
I don't remember. I didn't get to watch the one I should have watched that. I didn't get to watch the one you wanted me to watch.
You didn't watch that clip?
No, I didn't.
It was really good.
It.
Solid opening tag match, but I thought a bad finish. It was Tony and Stax. They successfully defended their tag belts against the Dyad. The finish, I think you were watching this. Remember, Ivy Nile comes down, and suddenly all like 20 members.
Yeah, I saw that. I think I saw the clip too, but I also saw when you were watching it.
Like 20 members of Schism are all distracted by Nile and turn their backs to the ring and just look at her, right? So that allows the Creeds, I assume, in their Schism disguises to get involved.
Julius hit that move he always does.
Right, where he like, I don't even know, it's some sort of
it's
slam
that, like,
where he like
somersault suplex kind of deal or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's hard to explain.
Like clearly a signature Creed move, right? Even though we don't see their faces, it's clearly them.
You kind of do for a second, just not clearly.
The match was fine, but 20 people kind of joining forces to deal with Ivy Nile.
Who's like also kind of
ignoring everything else seemed kind of silly. Then a Resthold. I did not. Another Eddie Thorpe vignette focusing on his indigenous traditions. Stuff like he listens to his life force, shows through his fighting spirit. Dijak is now the target of his focus, and they'll meet again, and Eddie will move forward without fear. I like that they're trying to include some of his background into his on-screen character, because people who listen to this show know I almost always think that's a good idea, to use reality as you build characters, especially for wrestlers who are struggling to sort of connect or get traction or whatever. But this isn't quite working for me. I like that they left out the animations of the wolf and the stars from last week.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But there's something about this just isn't quite connecting with me. I think it's Thorpe's delivery I'm not loving right now. Really liked they kind of had Mello signing autographs, like signing photographs.
I think I saw that.
And they kind of used it throughout the show, right? So,
I don't know which one I saw then.
So Wesley approaches.
That's the one I saw.
But he did it more than once. So one time,
I don't know which one
in one segment, Dijak in another, kind of like saying, I'm gonna be the one to face you at Heatwave, and Mello basically, I think it was to Dijak going like, I'm the only one guaranteed to be there, right? You guys still need to figure it out, kind of thing. Then the whole thing kind of came back into play in the final segment, which I'll get to, and I thought it was a really effective way to sprinkle the champ here and also further a couple other storylines along the way. I liked also the Chase U segment and match. The segment came first, and you basically have Chase and Hudson alone, and
I don't know, I don't think I saw it.
Chase has gotten Thea Hale a match against JC Jane to sort of try and make up for throwing in the towel against Stratton, right? Which Hale's still mad about. Hudson seems like he's all on Chase's side with this rationale, but as soon as Thea Hale comes in and she's still annoyed, Hudson immediately fires Chase under the bus and sides with Hale, right? Because she's still mad about. It fits in that she's like, you're still making decisions for me, and you still know what's best for me. So it's like, great, you got me a match because of course you know what's best for me, right? So she's doing like the moody teenager looking for independence from her parents who finds it annoying that they're over involved. She's doing a really good job, and honestly, it's not that much of a stretch. She's like 20 or something, right? So
yeah, it works.
She pretty much
in the grand scheme of wrestling, because obviously you can't have an actual.
It's as close as you're gonna get.
Yeah, the best you can do, really.
I actually like the match too, and again, that's 2 in a row from JC Jane, as I said, and 2 I didn't like from Britt Baker, so that's weird. So JC Jane in this sort of removed the turnbuckle, and I thought it was weird at first because instead of ripping it right off, she's just turning it so that the padding part is underneath and the turnbuckle's kind of exposed.
Why don't you just take it off?
Because just in time, basically as it's about to be used, Andre Chase hops up on the apron and replaces the cover, thinking he's protecting Thea Hale, but that's just as Hale's countering it and ramming Jane's head into the thing, so he actually protected JC Jane instead. I actually didn't mind it.
Kind of works.
And then Hale's obviously furious. She's yelling at Chase and then turns around and gets rolled up. So
I guess. I don't know.
The slight detail of not pulling the pad off, but then like I thought it was
but I don't think like
I thought it was a kind of a clever way to again, Chase with the best of intentions still screws over Hale.
I guess. I just don't love the fact that like the not hitting off the exposed turnbuckle is like, I don't know. Just I get I like what you're saying about it, but also it's a little weird to me.
Yeah, because normally they just rip it right off, and she went out of her way twice to just turn it down.
I don't know that he protected her. Like I don't know, it's just weird to me.
Pretty good TV match, and what ended up being the final match on the show, because I'm kind of going out of order. I put their segments together. Right, because
the main event would have been the thing you liked,
the contract signing. Yeah. So forwards the Chase U story, gives JC Jane a win, which I think she kind of needs here. And what I found interesting here is because when I watch this, I'm more sympathetic to Thea Hale, I guess. And commentary clearly revealed in the match that Hale's the heel here. Because Booker T's all supporting Thea Hale, and Vic Joseph is supporting Andre Chase. So I was a bit confused.
Oh, no, so I thought you were going to say, like, against JC Jane.
No. Okay. So just in this, like, that Thea Hale is the heel, even though she did kind of get screwed over, I think.
Yeah, I don't know if like
I was like,
I don't know if heel's the right word, but I guess
I was like, Booker's taken up for Thea here. But I think
maybe it's not. I don't know.
Maybe it's a red herring and they're gonna go the other way and swerve us. But it seemed like commentary was very much preparing us for this is a heel, this is a face. Resthold, I know it's gonna be a huge surprise to those of you that listen every week. Dana Brooke, as I call her, Extreme Dana Brooke now. So she took on Lindsay Davenport. Lindsay Davenport?
What?
That's a tennis player.
What?
Google Lindsay Davenport for me. I feel like that's like a 90s tennis player. I'm pretty sure it is. Blair Davenport. her younger sister. Am I right? American tennis player, I believe.
Lindsay American former tennis. Yeah.
Yeah, nailed it.
You suck.
So, anyways, she Davenport ended
Which
up
one? Which Davenport?
the one that wrestles. She ended up so Dana Brooke lost to Davenport. Kalani Jordan talked her out of using a chair at ringside, and then basically
So she's all hardcore now.
she is. Brooke got back in the ring, and it was a wicked looking knee strike from
I
Davenport.
saw Kalani Jordan's themes out. Should I listen to it?
No.
Oh.
And then the Kamagoya or whatever Davenport calls it, and she picks up the win. Brooke again looks slow and sloppy and not impactful. She botched a clothesline over the top at one point, and then there was an awkward exchange on the mat between the two. She did hit a nice sit-out powerbomb, if I'm going to be fair, and then after the match, Brooke is clearly angry at Jordan, and it looks like there's going to be
hardcore. They're gonna
a heel turn where the mentor turns on the protege, and nobody wants to see
a month maybe,
and neither of them can wrestle at all. So
both of them can do gymnastics. If there's a gymnastics competition, I will watch it.
They're focusing on wrestling now. Okay?
If there's a gymnastics competition, like because you know how they love to do non-wrestling things or whatever. I will watch that. If there's gymnastics, I mark my words.
That was one of my annoying things in this too. I forget what it was, but like Dana Brooke ends up getting like kicked or something thrown through the ropes back into the ring, but she like rolls through gracefully like a gymnast instead of selling it. It was kind of weird, but
that would only work as like an evasion spot, kind of.
I talked to you about this. I was disappointed in this. It was Drew Gulak taking on Trick Williams. So we get interference along the way in this from Damon Kemp and Charlie Dempsey as well. He actually I think he suplexed Trick on the ramp. I think it was. It looked pretty good. And then they finally are going to try again, and Briggs and Jensen make the save. And it's funny because I've made this mistake, and Vic Joseph called them Brooks and Jensen, which I thought was I'm pretty sure, which I thought was awesome.
That seems like something you would do.
Trick wins with a weak-looking discus punch that they had to.
I thought it was a kick.
Save by choosing a camera angle. No, I think it was a punch.
I thought it was a kick. I did see it.
They went so directly behind Gulak to cover up the contact. Or
it
lack
wasn't
thereof.
good. No.
It felt to me like in this, like Gulak couldn't use a lot of his usual holds and mat work because Trick may not be able to like effectively counter any of it.
Yeah, it's one of those that kind of hinders Gulak.
Right. So I thought it was kind of disappointing. I've been a supporter of Trick, and I think he's been getting a lot better in the ring, but I don't think he looked ready for prime time here. So I'm a little bit worried about the Dragunov match. A reminder, he is still learning and has a way to go. Like I still think his ceiling is really high, but this was not a very good match. I didn't think.
Mm-hmm.
Another annoying thing is Daba Kato returns. Little promo. Like, I think the guy sounds okay. He kind of sounds like a believable monster, but whatever it was, he's coming next week, and then he comes this week and does stuff I don't like, but we'll get to that. I thought there was a good...
what did the segment say? He's coming next week?
Yeah, and then he came this week. Good in-ring interaction between Robert Stone, Von Wagner, and Corbin, I thought. Corbin sounded really comfortable here doing most of the speaking. And they've done a good job of building like this table angle with Vaughn where he keeps putting people through tables, right? Because that's what everyone wants to see.
What was the thing? It was remember Lana got put to the table, like announce table, like every week for no reason.
Like she was being punished for something.
That was so funny. That was way better.
So this ends up with some a pull apart basically because Corbin is able to escape going through the table, which they're obviously setting up for the match. That's the big build, right? Is Corbin going to go? It's kind of smart because it's not even like Wagner needs to win matches. He just needs to find a way to keep putting people through tables.
And it's not like it doesn't require an immense amount of skill from him.
Yeah. And it was funny in this, Corbin actually calls out Wagner's weaknesses and is literally like, you've got to be good on the stick in this business. Hey, Stone, give him the mic, let him talk.
That reminds me of, remember when Adam Cole did the promo with Cross and just flamed him for every weakness? That
wasn't quite that hard.
That we were calling. I loved it, though. That was awesome. It didn't cross no service, but I loved it so much.
Wagner actually sounded okay. I don't know if he's ever going to sound great. And he mocks Corbin for all of his horrible gimmicks, right? And finishes with something like, at Heat Wave, you have a reservation for one and a table for one, which is okay.
That's not,
and your bald,
I don't hate that.
Your bald ass will get tabled.
Yeah, bald joke.
I thought it was okay. You saw this, and I don't know, man. I thought this was super cool. The Mustafa Ali kind of debuted a new character.
I heard about it, and then I saw when you were watching. I thought it was interesting for sure.
Me too.
I like that it's at least something for him.
He's in a suit. He's at a podium. It's like he's doing this kind of morally superior, slimy politician thing. and I thought
That's
it was
interesting,
really
yeah.
cool. He sounded really good. So things like, I had a couple examples here. The esteemed North American Championship has not been represented by champions who give it the prestige it deserves. Includes Wesley and Dirty Dom in this. Pointing out, I thought it was funny that Dom is a convicted criminal, right? Off of that one
He
day
is.
in jail. He says the people deserve better, a champion inside and outside the ring. He's the North American champion we need and will bring it to new heights while inspiring people to believe that they can do incredible things the right way, of course, because he's not doing things the right way.
What do you mean? He
Right.
does things the right way.
I really like this. I think he's a talented performer, and they're hopefully trying to find a role that connects and doesn't have to tie into his nationality and stuff, right?
I like
well, I
that,
guess he's American,
yeah.
but you know what I mean, his background.
But yeah, because
It felt really fresh and
I don't
different.
think him being technically American really matters to them, right?
No,
So
not at all to
I
WWE.
didn't feel like it was something that was directly like Saudi Arabia or whatever, you know, or
No,
whatever.
no,
I
no.
didn't think it was that, so I'm also glad that it's not just they're not taking the easy route with that.
He's got some good charisma, right? So I think he can continue like not believing he's a heel, but being a heel and like thinking he's doing everything to help
really
other
good.
people.
I think if Retribution wasn't such a crappy, he could have salvaged that if they actually let him. But
so I like this. I like. It seems like it's a slimy politician character, and it feels kind of new, and I'm interested in it.
I don't think they've really done something.
And he's
like
really
that.
good in the ring. So like, if we can just get everything
I was
interesting,
like, he had that really good series with Murphy on 205 Live.
he did.
I've seen like clips of Murphy circulating, like the clip like from that match with Aleister Black from TLC. That was really good. That I randomly rewatched the one time, and then there was the match with Ollie. Like, I mean, I love Buddy Matthews and whatever, but 205 Live Murphy was built different.
He was awesome.
Let me tell you.
Yep. I really liked Wesley and Dijak for the number one contendership.
Were all the fingers okay this time?
You had, targeting. So Lee was targeting Dijak's leg, which makes sense, the big man, and Dijak ends up targeting Lee's shoulder
I
after
did see
running him
bits
into
of that
the
where
post.
the finishers didn't work out.
Right, and so each of them, I like that too. Each of them, that targeting affected some of their signature offense. It was Lee's handspring into the cardiac kick.
I thought the way he fell
collapsed,
down was pretty good,
looked good.
actually. Yeah.
And then Dijak, he was going for his Death Valley driver, and he sort of collapsed.
No, it
as
was
well.
the Feast Your Eyes.
Oh, was it?
I think.
Oh yeah, probably.
Yeah.
He had him up for that. You had a surprising Wesley powerbomb followed by a Meteora for a near fall that was pretty cool.
Oh, yeah.
We had ring steps, barricades. Eddie Thorpe comes out and distracts Dijak, who ends up taking a head scissors into the steps from Lee. Back into the ring.
It was kind of shoddy, though, remember?
Wasn't great. Back in the ring, cardiac kick, twisting senton, and Wesley wins. He'll face Mello at Heatwave. Really good match. Pretty good storytelling with the targeting, which I always like. And Wesley and Hayes, even at this point, I was saying, has a chance to be an excellent main event. And then sort of their interaction at the end of the show really got me more interested in it. What I called ultimately a rest hold. Dabba-Kato ruins what was becoming a really good match. You had Joe Coffey and Tyler Bate 4 minutes into what I was already getting into, an entertaining match. And Kato comes down, attacks, leading to a no contest. Gallus escape, and Bate takes a choke bomb. So not only is Kato back, which is bad, he interrupts a good match, makes a couple really good wrestlers look kind of bad in the process. So they really, accomplished a lot of bad things.
He beat up Tyler Bate
in a couple minutes here. Yeah. Corbin and Braun had a brief interaction outside, and I like that too. It's basically like Braun is not happy because he's like, I'm not done with Von Wagner. And then Corbin says to him, looks like you were pretty done with him when he drove you through that table. That I thought was pretty good, right? And then Braun is basically, fine, you can have him. Good luck because I'm going to be watching. And then I thought Corbin sounded really good. He basically is like, listen, I get that you intimidate everyone here at NXT, but I'm not everybody, sort of thing, right? So I kind of liked it.
Corbin's doing all right.
It's like two tough guys. Neither one's going to back down. Braun's position makes sense, right?
One's a lone wolf. One's meaner than evil.
He still needs to get at Von Wagner for getting put through that table.
He's a badass.
Yeah, I thought it was good. Rest hold because I don't understand. It's Nathan Fraser's hard hitting home truths again.
I don't get what that is.
I don't get what they're going for, right? Like, I don't know. So Metaphor interrupted.
It looks like a newscast or something, right?
Right.
But like it's not.
It's kind of like I don't know what it is.
And
almost
how
like
did Metaphor get on?
They just interrupted, right?
But how does...
I don't know.
Do they bribe the production people? Or
and I thought Dar was
the deal?
really entertaining, but I don't get what they're going for with Fraser. This one was really obnoxious. He had a fraud buzzer, and he just kept hitting it, and it was really juvenile and obnoxious.
It's like a crappy version of the dummy, yeah.
Yes.
Except that's actually funny though.
Although Dar's reaction to it was pretty great.
Eli Drake did it better.
These segments get my attention, I think, because I'm trying to figure out what they're trying to do.
It's more like intriguing
and it's
rather
not
than
that
bad
I
or
like
good.
it. Right. It's that I'm like, what is
Yeah, yeah.
Fraser supposed to be likable? Because I don't think he is. And he's bringing energy to it, but I don't feel like it's the right energy.
So I'd argue he's more likable when he's just boring.
So I don't know. But anyways, they'll have great matches if they wrestle, but I don't get what this hard-hitting home truths. But it's been 3 or 4 times now, so they seem committed with it. So I don't know why, but anyways.
It's like the what was it? Lashing out. They're gonna run it into your face until it just proves to not work.
Yes. Then I thought there was like 3/4 or 80% of a really good segment that had a ridiculous ending. And that's going back to from last week, Humberto Carrillo and Angel Garza.
Oh, did they continue that?
It was a reference to the grandfather last week. So this week it's again about their grandfather. So you see images of him, images of Angel and Alberto as really young kids.
Alberto?
Or sorry, whatever.
Oh, you wish it was Del Rio on is
Humberto.
that you wanted to see Del
Right,
Rio?
bring him back.
That's what you wanted.
Them training as kids and just wrestling as kids, and basically the idea that when life's going great, you have your family, and life really sucks, you still have your family. And then Humberto's words sort of come through, and it's like, if you lose, the time has come. No more games, no more distractions. I thought this was funny. Tear away your past, as the image is Angel tearing off his pants.
I like that.
Tear away your past for a new beginning, but a new beginning together. So I really like this. And then the end of it was both of them waking up in their separate beds, in their separate houses, I guess, and looking at a picture of their grandfather on the nightstand, as though like the idea is they both had the same dream or something, which is just so...
That kind of ruined
They could have not put that on there and just had like...
That's like, well, isn't that one of the worst cop-outs in movies or whatever?
Yeah.
It's like, it was
all a
just
dream.
Yeah.
But it's like, fine, why aren't they just in their houses reflecting on the fact that they've had
That's
issues with each
infinitely
other
better.
and they remember their grandfather
Yeah.
going like, man, your family, you got to stick together and you need to... So I like
it's okay to remember the same thing.
Right. I like that they're sort of, looks like they're going to stay together and get more serious. They're going to stop doing the going after women thing, blah, blah, blah. So
That's
I like
dumb.
that. Because they're both good in the ring.
I love Gar. I remember I used to not really like him, but then I really came around on him in NXT.
Yeah.
And then he did nothing
Right.
in main roster, and he just kind of fizzled out, and then I forgot about him. I got his elite though, so
It's important. And then the final thing was the last segment of the show, which I absolutely loved, and that's Wesley and Mello doing the contract signing. So first you get Wesley going back to Mello's autograph table backstage or whatever it is, and he demands that Mello meet him in the ring to sign
was
the contract
that what the one I saw?
for the match right away.
No, because I saw the match, so I think did I see the? I don't know.
I don't know.
Maybe I saw both.
I like this because Wesley kicks the legs out from the table that Mello's using, and he like drags it with him, like he's going to take it to the ring.
That's why the table was there.
So I
okay.
thought that was cool. Then we get a lengthy back and forth between these two to end the show, and
I'll
I thought
check
it
it out
was
later if I
awesome. I
remember.
sent you clips of it. Basically, Wesley starts out thinking that Mello's living the life of luxury since becoming the champ. Mello kind of, I'm going to shorten this a lot. This was pretty lengthy, great stuff. You should check it out. Mello corrects him and says that the title comes with all kinds of responsibilities, and basically Wes wouldn't be able to handle walking in Mello's sequin shoes or whatever he was wearing. Wes talks about all of the people who have told him he can't do things throughout his life. Mello was one of the chosen ones when NXT rebranded, while Wes was overlooked again.
That is true.
He kept working, won the NXT tag titles twice, then lost his partner and had to listen to everyone say that he couldn't make it as a single star, and then he went on to become one of the best, he says, the best North American champion of all time.
Up there.
Mello says Lee won the title, but didn't win it from him, because he kind of implied he did, but I think it was in a multi-man.
No, he won the... So... Wesley won the ladder match after the whole Solo Sikoa fiasco, and
Yeah.
Mello was in that, but he never...
Right. And that's
Sikoa
what his
beat him.
correction.
Yes,
you didn't beat
that-
me.
Well, he didn't beat him, and he didn't beat him, you
Right.
know?
Mello says he put that title on the map twice, but this is about the NXT champion, his NXT championship. He agrees with 90% of what Lee says, but next week at Heatwave, he can't beat him, which I like, because Wesley's talking about everyone telling me I can't, so Mello actually stops and rephrases to use the word
I like
can't
that.
again. I thought this was fantastic.
It's
Mello,
also good with Wesley being a face because then you could kind of get the Mello that we
and he's
want.
going a little more edgy. And so that's one thing I'm going to mention here that you would have liked too. Mello sounded really cool and confident, and Lee sounded probably better than he ever has. Really got me looking even more forward to this match. Both guys are totally believable, have defendable positions. And yes, they're both baby faces, but Wes is leaning into more intensity, and Mello in this made a reference to like, you're almost making me go back to the way I used to be, which I was like, okay, right?
That's what I want.
But he was a really good, cool, like unflappable heel here. And he even ends with Mello ends it by quoting TLC's Waterfalls, right?
I did.
Like,
I heard
don't
that.
go
Yeah.
chasing waterfalls, sort of thing. And then he says next week, it's not. And again, I like that he changes the words here. He goes, it's not that Mello don't miss. It's that Mello can't miss. Again, throwing the can'ts out at Wesley.
I like that.
I thought this was fantastic. This is what, when other shows do go home shows and want to end with segments, I think this is what they're going for. It's realistic.
This is what you should do, right?
Both of them have decent points. And yeah, just it makes me want to see this match, and I think the match could be great.
The only thing I thought was weird is and I didn't see it, but just that it was kind of after the match that he won for the title shot. Like, I feel like it would have been better if they died Jack and Wesley was the week before.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's the only thing, but that doesn't really hurt the segment, I guess.
What
Just
was
a little weird.
Oh, he also, what did he Wesley ended up jumping and stomping through the table and landing on his feet right in Mello's face. It also looked super cool.
I think
Worked
that's
out
what it was,
perfectly. A couple table things for Wesley worked out really well, I thought, this week. So yeah, awesome final segment. I recommend going to check it out. Switching to Impact, really strong opening match. And guess what? It's again the new workhorse of Impact Wrestling. Who might that be in the Knockouts division?
Giselle Shaw.
Kylan King, man.
Oh.
She had a really lengthy match with Deonna Purrazzo. I
You
really
like Kylan
liked
King
it.
and not Britt Baker. I see how it is.
And the one highlight I made note of was Purrazzo is just a technician. She had a really sick-looking flatliner right into a Koji clutch. Looked really cool.
Oh, I've seen that. I think Ollie used to do that, and I know Sammy used to do that. It's in their movesets in 2K, so I'm going to assume they used to do that.
Very competitive match with an energetic crowd. Purrazzo ends up winning with the Venus de Milo that I always think looks good. And again, King, man, I keep saying it. They give her a lot of work, right? She's in a busy tag team, and she's also in a lot of singles matches lately.
Is she still? I don't think she's still in NWA.
I don't think so either.
I think she was, but
shocking Resthold Bully Ray. So now he's desperately afraid of PCO and begging Santino Marella to do something about it. He's terrified because he has an upcoming no DQ match.
Why would
PCO.
you have a Frankenstein on your roster?
I don't know.
Don't make sense.
I just don't care about anything Bully Ray does. I told you earlier I liked Dirty Dango better this week because he was ripping on Jake Something for quite a while actually, and so he's making fun of the name Something, and he's like, what if Mike Awesome's name was Mike something, right? And then he's like, Jake's not even in the PW 500 or PWI 500. And that basically
really?
Jake...
I guess he was probably out, maybe? I don't
Jake
know.
left Impact to go do better things, and now he had to come crawling back to Impact probably for half of what he was making when he left. Something about, like, Jake something's probably the biggest guy at LA Fitness or whatever. Anyways, he was pretty funny. And Johnny, whatever they're calling him, just sat there and didn't say anything.
Oh, I forgot he's back.
So he didn't say anything, which helps. So yeah, I think it was helped that he had someone specifically to target with insults, right? And I thought it was pretty entertaining.
Yeah, it always helps to have a target.
Another really impressive match for Kevin Knight. This week he took on Moose. Moose hit a huge sky high at one point. I feel like people hit this guy with big moves and a huge Uranagi.
Oh yeah, did you know? I think her name was Mickey Knuckles on the Indies though.
Yeah.
And she was called Moose, and she was in TNA.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So Moose isn't the first Moose.
Second Moose.
Second Meese.
At one point, Kevin Knight does like a somersault flip over the top, and Moose catches him perfectly in like a powerbomb grip, and that's what you're expecting. And then Knight counters that into a head scissors on the ramp. Was a really nice spot. The crowd are really into this match. We get a series of pretty good near falls at the end, especially there was a code red that was really believable. And then the finish is a powerbomb and a humongous spear that sort of flips Knight right over, so Moose picks up the win. But another really impressive match for Knight, who keeps looking great in losses. Moose looked like a really good powerhouse here, and Knight's flurries were great. Really good match. Knight is one to watch, I think, going forward in 2024. I don't think he's done enough to be like a breakout or anything this year, but I wouldn't be surprised if he's on that list next year. Resthold, what a surprise. Eric Young taking on Khan.
Oh, right. I saw it. I forgot.
The never-ending feud that no one asked for continues. Super basic match because it has to be because Khan's in it. And it ends in a DQ when Diener attacks with a chair because I think it looked like EY was taking control or whatever. Who cares? They DDT Eric Young after the match and no one cares. There was a kind of a Joe Hendry video I liked this week. It was about him and Yuya Uemura training for the last 3 weeks in jeans and white t-shirts. Included in the lyrics was they could be jean models or something. Really cheesy but fun again. Hendry's hit and miss for me, but this was a video that I thought was funny. I wanted you to watch this too. I actually had it queued up for you to see. Part 2 of Crazy Steve telling his story to Tom Hannafan. Man, this was tough to watch at parts because it's probably all true, I'm guessing, and it's crazy, so no pun intended. Abusive alcoholic father.
Oh, and he's blind. That's even worse.
Seriously ill mother
And
who
he's
ends
blind.
up committing suicide 3 weeks before he signs his Impact contract. Then he sort of complains about he gets to Impact and he's portrayed as a clown and a crazy person, and he's neither of those things. And just, he was basically
is this their repackage?
pretty much in tears for some of this, like clearly telling some pretty tough stuff and just like captivating. Super courageous for him telling it. They put awful sound effects in the transitions from between images. Other than that, this was like super compelling and kind of hard to watch at times. And Hannafan's really good too, looking like sympathetic and like kind of taken aback by the stuff he's hearing from this guy. Like all of this stuff, and he's legally blind, right? And he chose to be a professional wrestler. This is and he's good in the ring. Like, I don't even understand. So this was incredible. There's a third part coming, I think, next week that I'm really looking forward to.
Damn.
I don't know where they go with this, right? But
I would assume, like, the way I feel like it's got to be a repackage. If he's saying,
it seems like it.
He's been portrayed as this and that and he's not, then
because even though he's like, even though you see grease paint on my face all the time, I'm no clown. And I'm not crazy, I promise you.
So maybe it's some sort of repackage.
But it's been awesome. Super awesome stuff.
You should push him off of that.
They should. I hope so. I've always kind of liked Crazy Steve, right? They've just never really wanted to do much with him. And he's a guy that is Impact, right? Like he's been there forever. Resthold, I did not like Black Taurus jobbing to Bully Ray in a basic 7-minute no DQ
That's your
match.
worst nightmare.
Bully Ray then afterward Uranagi's PCO through a table, and PCO gets right up and Bully is scared. Just basically Black Taurus deserves better. For me, you could include him in whatever Crazy Steve is doing and let Steve speak for Taurus. I would use both of them more.
Tag titles.
Something, I don't know. Then the high spot, I really liked the main event. It was the Rascals taking on Swan and Callahan for the #1 contendership for the tag titles.
Speaking of which.
Really good tag team offense from the Rascals, as you would expect. Sammy, one cool spot was he hit a cactus driver to Wentz onto Trey's midsection. That was kind of neat.
Oh, nice.
Swan hit a Hurricane Rana off the top to Trey, and that forced Trey to hit a senton onto Wentz. So it was kind of cool. And I put, at this point in the match, it can't be a good sign that I regularly forget who the tag champs are now.
I just remembered.
Because in the middle of this match, I'm going, okay, do they want a heel or a face challenger for these belts? And I'm like, I don't even know who has them. Do you know?
Subculture.
Right. But I keep forgetting.
I forgot. I was just trying to, like, you were talking about, I was just trying to remember. And then you said, like, I remembered just before you mentioned that.
I forgot.
I was legitimately just trying to remember.
We get, I think it was all 4 kicks to the head. Everybody's down, and the crowd is going nuts. The crowd was really good on this show. So the ref's distracted. Trey sprays Sami Callihan with the spray paint, and we get, I forget what they call it, but you know, their shoving moonsault thing that the Rascals do.
Yeah, that they used to do Wesley,
in NXT.
But they did before, but it used to be Wentz and Wesley, obviously.
So Rascals win. They'll challenge Subculture. Really good match, especially the second half of this. The tag division in Impact is in decent shape, I think. The Rascals are really fluid as a team, and I like the contrast to styles with Swan and Sammy if they decide to keep those two together. So a pretty entertaining episode of Impact. Did I like it more than Dynamite? Quite possibly. That's crazy.
That is crazy.
Because I loved the Crazy Steve thing. 2 of the matches were good, right? Maybe
but
3.
you had Khan and Bully Ray.
That's true. So it's tough, but pretty good. Anyways, I think you said there is no updates from the world of figures this week, so I think
No, I'm at the mercy of them.
we're coming in at a lean 2 hours this week, buddy.
That is short.
So 162 next week will be some sort of different experience. I don't exactly know what it'll be yet, but
Our viewership's going to go down.
I will have something.
It's going to be like Collision against SummerSlam, let's be honest.
And I also practiced doing video with your brother today, so I'm ready for that. If you're ever ready. I'll show you what it looks like, and we'll see. But we'll definitely be back. Well, I'll definitely be back for episode 162. I don't think Jack will be, but we'll try and record something ahead of time or have a reasonable replacement for him. But I will definitely be back down in the basement next week. Hope to see you all back here. Bring some others along to listen with you. We will see you next Saturday. And until then, take care.